Welcome to the party, a party just for you. We just want the money. Here's your substitute. Lean pills and Molly. Bought it just for you. Party, party, hardy. Dance right off the cliff. Welcome to the party, a party just for you. We just want the money. Here's your substitute. Lean pills and Molly. Bought it just for you. Party, party, hardy. Dance right off the cliff. This is America. Won't catch them slipping, no. Won't catch them slipping, no. Look what they cooking up. Yeah, this is America. Better not be slipping, no. Police be tripping, no. Look how we living, no. Yeah, this is America. See where I'm getting at. Which what you looking at? Give me this, give me that. Yeah, this is America. DC my area. Keep me a strap. Why? That's how we carry it. Yeah, yeah, I need 100 bands. Yeah, yeah, I popped a couple Zans. Yeah, yeah, this ain't Gorilla Glue. Yeah, yeah, what's that you claiming, fool? Yeah, yeah, I'm so dope like whoa. Yeah, I sell dope like whoa. Yeah, my gum blow like whoa. And I'm in love with the cocoa, yeah. Sing it. Ooh, run, tell somebody. Go tell everybody. They won't do nothing. Get your money, black girl, black man. Get your money, black girl, black man. Get your money, black girl, black man. Get your money, black girl, black man, black man. This is America. Better not be slipping on. Better not be slipping on. Look what they dishing on. Yeah, this is America. Won't catch them slipping up. Won't catch them slipping up. Black, white, Latino, Chinese, they don't give a fuck. Look how I'm freaking out. That ain't Fendi. I'm on Louis. I'm so pretty. We gon' get it. We gon' get it. Watch me move. Move. This is trendy. I'm so cool. Why you so homophobic? Nigga, oh you notice? I didn't know till you showed me. Been black all my life, but I'm glad you just told me. Running man, running man, running man. YouTube, Snapchat. Stick 'em up, shoot 'em up, hit 'em up, kill again. Land of the freest, sweet band American.
What's up, what's up, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Pandor Love, and you're now tuned into the Pandor Word Box Show. Today, I have my guest in here. I just put T and D. I put T and D in here.
Testing 1 2. 2 2 2.
Say something.
2 2 2. Test 1 2.
Alright, that's better. 1. Okay, that's better. Good morning, y'all. You're now tuned into the Pandor Word Box Show. I'm your host, Pandor Love. And today I'm in the box with two of my friends. Met from Facebook. One from my hometown, really, but it got T and D in here. And today we're going to be talking about a serious topic. So I suggest that you get some pen and paper, take some notes. This is a one-time show that you're going to hear this information. So, and I actually don't even know how long I'm going to leave the show up on our thing. They gonna be coming. he coming. So it's very informational. Make sure y'all take notes and everything. The call-in number is 240-389-3397 if you have any questions. We're gonna be talking about what's going on that you don't see or you just not paying attention to. All right, fellas, introduce yourself.
Well, I'm on Facebook. It has Devon Hancock. I actually go by my middle name because the other page got shut down. So you go by Devon Rodney Hancock. I got a lot of aliases.
Well, me, I'm known as Takem Rasuda Sushaka, aka Terrace, aka Bees, aka Burn Sunday, aka Back on Them Beats for those that know me when I produce.
Oh, okay. You used to produce. Oh, yeah.
And with that right alone, with the Baron Someday, that's something right there off the rip y'all can research.
Oh, okay.
Right,
Okay.
right.
All right. So who want to start first?
I mean, I guess it's an evolving, situation as far as if we talking about what was the topic again? What they don't see
Right.
and what's going on. I mean, right now
They see it, but they just not paying attention
they're
to
not
it.
paying attention.
Or choose not to see.
Right.
See it, but
Well, right now, first off, let me give praise to the ancestors for us being here today. Every day that we can wake up and take another breath, you understand, is another day to observe and another day to grow, another day to learn. And with that being said, to the federal workers out there, sympathy goes out in the sense of families that have children and the people that are out there that do things that we don't see behind the scenes. And I like to say, that hopefully things get better. But like I said, I'm Burn Sunday, so I got to hit everybody equally. And right now with this shutdown going on, you have everybody starting in one way, shape, or form to feel the effects of what's going on. And this has been a bubble that's been doomed to pop for the longest time. See, everybody's used to a 1 week shutdown, a couple of days shutdown. But now that it's dragging on, as they say, it's the longest in history. We're starting to, or people are starting to come to grips with forms of reality that they haven't been faced with. They've seen it on TV. They've seen other people go through it, but that kick the can down the road scenario is starting to hit people hard. When you see other people going through things, you tend to be disconnected from it because it's not happening to you. This is a reality check for people, and not everybody, but some of them out there, they look down on people.
Yeah, true that.
You understand? There's people that have been going through hardships and whether they've been plagued with a string of bad luck or things just not adding up right. Some people look at them and they say, okay, I got my job, I'm getting my check. As long as you got food on your plate, you don't care about the others that sit across from you that don't even have a plate, let alone something on it. So this is a wake-up call to people. I heard a interview on, Channel 9 News, and it was a Trump supporter. And he was like, if it wasn't affecting him, he's all for Trump. He said, but now it's affecting me. So it's because it's affecting people on a large scale. Now you care. Now they're starting to listen to those of us that have been in the streets, in various organizations and things, calling out and saying, look, this is foul. But it becomes entertainment when you got money in your pocket, you got food on your plate, and your bills is paid. Let's not fool ourselves. There's people now that never missed a bill. Never missed a bill. Never missed a mortgage payment. Never missed a electric payment. Now they're feeling that. And feeling that, if you haven't been in those situations, is how do you react? Right. I equate it to just like how I used to go to Pentagon City Mall. And when you go through the mall, they have what is like a flow of traffic. Everybody, you know, on the right side, people walking down. On the left side, people walking up. You walk on that left side, you'll see them sometimes. They get closer and closer. They don't know where to go. Do I go to the right? Do I go to the left? Because they so automatically go with the flow that they don't know how to adapt when an obstacle comes in front of them. And those obstacles now are being seen with paycheck. How am I going to feed the family? How am I going to survive? All these doomsday scenarios are now coming to fruition or being able to be actualized because the soup is ready. The ingredients are there. The heat is being turned up. We just don't know if it's going to make it to the dinner table or not, you know? And that's just a little brief introduction. I'm going to let Rodney put his little spill, you know, on, not little, but put his spill on what's going on, and then we can take it from there.
I was just up here meditating. I was remembering what you were saying about the language, and I was meditating, disciplining myself to watch my mouth, because you know. But and I'm in total concurrence with what my man T said. But you know, my main thing has been is preparedness and people getting ready. Like, I don't know how, me personally speaking for myself, I don't know how long I've been online and in different spots, period, whether it's in the neighborhood, different states or countries I've lived in by being in the military as far as other countries. And anybody that's watching to tell you right now, I was talking this same lingo in the military, elementary school, middle school, and throughout. And it's always been a thing, oh man, you crazy, and this thing, and all of that.
Side talk.
But it's always been about preparedness because, like, it's anything I say, anything that's divine is unexplainable. So people ask for sources of information and all of that. I used to didn't have them. It was just coming through me.
Right.
Go to sleep at night, wake up just a head full of information, and sometimes I'm wondering even where it was coming from. And so it caused me to go back in books, just go get different books and just research, and then, you know, when you see stuff in books and you've never read before and you're coming out the mouth with this stuff, it has to be divine. The message is coming through me from somewhere, or from like-minded people somewhere like yourself and others, you know what I'm saying? So it's here now, you know what I'm saying? So now it's trickling, you're getting little trickles of, hey man, remember you said this, and man, remember a couple of years back when we was telling you was crazy and man, you was right. Well, like I always say, it ain't about being right or wrong. It's about saying what needs to be said when it needs to be said. And if you wanted to say it that way, I knew I was right back then.
Right.
You don't have to tell me I was right. And that's not like Panic always say. This is not ego talking. It's like, because I really give a I mean, you know, I really care. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. I've been homeless before. I know what it's like. I know what it's like eating out of trash cans and being in McDonald's and you don't see people eating all that. Wait a minute, man. Let me get the rest of that cheeseburger. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, personally speaking, and it's a lot of people conditioned for what's coming. I'm conditioned for it. So my phone is open. My doors are not, but you know what I'm saying? You know, the information is amongst us. The information is here. So if anybody ever has any questions about anything, just reach out to one of us on Facebook, inbox or something. My number is 301-383-4292. If you, because that spirit coming down.
Spirit just saying, letting it out.
You mess around, you think Griff sitting in his chair in a minute, but yeah, man, I've been wanting to start preparedness groups and things like that. Like if you live in a neighborhood, you live in the cul-de-sac in the neighborhood or whatever. Like when the stuff really hits the fan, and if it comes to that point where your family is separated. Can you say you trust your kids with your next door neighbor? Can you honestly say you trust your kids with your neighbor in the event your family gets separated? And if they put people in these camps or whatever, if it goes that far.
Message.
and you separated, can you really say you trust your neighbor 5 doors down from you with your kids or something like that? We have to get prepared and ready. The time for the club hopping, and you don't get me wrong, I love music. I love go-go. My family's involved with music on both sides. I love it. But right now, me personally speaking, it's really not the. And then you got some people that'll say, just carry on. Like I say, just carry on and enjoy the show. Yeah, carry on and enjoy the show. None of this has anything to do with us at all.
Right.
These are these other people that's infighting. It's secret societies infighting with each other, if you want to say that. Secret societies or whatever.
So the elite are going against each other.
Yeah. Like Trump, you got Trump. I forgot the name of the Masonic lodge he's from in Georgia, but it's either the oldest and or the first Masonic lodge in America, and he's part of that lodge. I want to say it's the name's right at the tip of my tongue, but that's what's going on right now. It's like if you're in the workplace, which America is a corporation,
right?
And everybody's rushing for that or wants the how would you say, the raise or the top dollar or whatever. You got one employee talking about another employee
putting down the next
supervisors beefing with other supervisors. Well, this is what this is times infinity.
Everybody pleading their case.
It's on a way bigger scale, and that's what this is. And excuse me, and the people, like I said, you got your right to your opinion. You say what you want to say, but all that trash talk against Trump and all of that and whoever else, it's nothing you can do about it. Look how long they've been talking about they want to impeach him, like the people, the citizens.
Well, I hope they don't. I hope they don't impeach him, because the vice president is actually a little worse than Trump. If they did their background on him.
Exactly.
When you're dealing with Pence is a guard dog. You understand?
That's a good way to put it.
They give him his position. He watches it. He's very territorial. He's also fanatical in a lot of his beliefs. So with Pence, you would get more of a direct sharpness. You see what I'm saying? In policies and things like that, because somebody's going to be pulling his chain. See, Trump, even though it's people behind him, you pull his chain too many times, he's going to turn around and bite you.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's what's going on with his handlers right now. And we can't talk about what's going on without going back to the culture. My brother right here just said that this has nothing to do with us. That's right. And it does have something to do with us in the sense of spirituality. You understand? See, when we get into culture, and like for one thing with go-go, over the last 2 weeks, 2 weeks, I have seen clips on Facebook and YouTube of Backyard playing over in Africa. Over by the door of no return where the slaves were taken out.
They went over.
They went over there, and they I don't know if the documentary is finished or whatever, but they were doing a documentary, and they were over there playing go-go music.
I can find out. I can let you know. I'll let you know.
That right there is a feat within itself, that you would have those of us that carry some of those bloodlines that were taken away, and to go back and carry our music, because regardless of what a lot of people think, music is the highest form of spirituality. Because you're dealing with frequencies, you're dealing with vibrations, you're dealing with tones. Sometimes when words can't be spoken, if you look at our language is nothing but a formula of tones and frequencies. You understand? So you can be in a foreign country and not understand the language, but the tones.
Yeah, you can tell somebody saying it madly or how
you be on the block. Somebody say, "Hey, what's up?" Say, "Hey, what's up?" Somebody can say, "Hey, what's up?" Say, "Oh, what's going on here?" You know, that's what our grandmothers and our mothers and Big Mama used to say. You say something, I don't like the way he So, and then they used to always ask, "Who's his people?"
Yeah.
They didn't have to know his personality. They said, "Who's his people?"
Who child at?
And when they find out who his people is, they say, "Oh, no," because they know the pattern of what that.
They do that in
like.
Maxton a lot.
Oh yeah, that's
They
why.
do
That's
that
why.
Maxton
I
a
laugh.
lot.
Right, you know, and you know, I come from, you know, what I call the up north country. You know, I was born in Southeast. I'm a survivor of Greater Southeast. I always say that, you know, and we had our stick from 10th place and Forest Heights. Grandparents worked at St. Elizabeth Hospital. Oh yeah, okay. You know, but I also had the roots from my grandmother and them Harts and them Simpsons and stuff down in Charles County. You know, grandfather was from Rocky Mount, North Carolina. You know, but my original grandfather was from down in Charles County, Pole Monkey. You see what I'm saying? And
ain't never heard.
you see that, right? Edgemore, right there by the well, I ain't gonna give out all that information.
It's an actual place called Pole Monkey, or was a place.
Pole Monkey.
Okay. I mean, and Edgemore, Maryland. You know, you go down there. And,
Okay. But let us stay off the grid because we might need Pole Monkey.
Right.
I'm
So,
look into that one.
right. Hey, country living at its finest. Burn your own trash and everything.
Oh yeah, that's the real
I
country.
missed that.
Yeah.
We used to burn leaves in the yard and
Used
stuff.
to have functions, and when they turn dark, and they say, "Well, take this bread pudding up to Big Mama." No, I can't see my hand in front of my face.
Okay.
But after you down there for a while, that's where I had my first taste of turtle and everything down there. But yeah, that's country. But when we talk about seeing music that was here, and it's going back to our ancient homesteads, then I saw another clip of Junkyard playing in Maine.
Oh yeah.
And it was nothing but white folks.
But no, I was gonna ask my boss because my boss is Nico. Shout out to Nico. He's the go-go-ologist.
Okay.
That's why you see the go-go side over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't know if somebody, cropped that or whatever and just
I
put
thought
it.
so too until I looked at the video and I saw them.
It's actually Junkyard on Maine.
And
Oh man.
That lady was roughing it all. She was.
all.
This is something recent.
I
Yes.
put it on my
Yes.
page, and you go on
I
there.
thought somebody made, how they take the music and put it with the clips, like when the
Yeah.
kids dance.
Yeah.
So that's actual video from them in
To
Maine.
me, that's what it looks like, because whoever put it up there said they cranking out here in Maine, and it was Junkyard. But see, what I was looking at the crowd, then they started showing them on the stage, and I said, hold on.
Oh,
I
okay,
said,
yeah. Okay.
I said, now who booked that show? I don't know.
That's the
But-
best promoter right there.
But it's not
Yeah,
like
man.
this hadn't happened before. Go-Go's in Japan.
Germany.
You had Trouble Funk that traveled.
Yes, Tony. Shout out to Tony.
You know, a lot of people, if you look at the history, I was going to do a lecture years ago about the symbology, because I deal in metaphysics and everything, but I was going to do a lecture on the symbology of go-go. You understand? And how it has ancient roots going back to the percussion. That's how we used to talk. At one time when we were over here, it was punishable by death to play that drum.
Oh yeah.
You understand?
What you mean, punishable by that?
I mean, they would kill you. They did, because that drum was the way that we talk. That
talk,
drum can summon them ancestors. That drum can let somebody know over in the next plantation when it's time to move. We breaking out or whatever's going on. And by doing that, you understand, and observing that, you see what I'm saying, the call was put out, just like you had just certain laws that were enacted for things that we couldn't do. This is how a lot of the sundown laws that still exist, they still on the books. I think they got some in Mo County, and those laws where you could come and work, but by sundown you was supposed to have your black ass out of town.
Yeah, it's still like that in Missouri. When I went to AIT training for my job in the military, it's a sign. Well, you get passes on the weekend if your bunks are straight and all that kind of crap. But it's a big white sign out in the woods, and say it's a big white sign. It's an area in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, where you just can't go. It's still 50s and 60s out there as far as the Klan. But it's a big white sign. And this is literal. I'm not even trying to be funny. It's a big white sign that says in black letters, if you're not the same color of this sign, we advise you to turn around right now. And they showed us pictures of it, you know, because like even if you're at a duty station in a different country, when you get on the weekend you want to go out and stuff, they give you safety briefings every Friday if you want to go out of town. If you're in another country, they tell you certain countries to stay away from. So you when they even got them at the playgrounds at dusk. Nobody allowed at the playgrounds and all, which that's more for safety. But you know,
I remember when I was young, and I'm not gonna call their names because I know some people like to stay in the comfort of stealth. But in Forest Heights when I was young, over by the park, going down the hill, I remember me and two other of my associates. We went down there and we saw about 5 or 6 guys in them hoods, them Klan hoods and stuff. This is back in the 80s. You know, so when we're talking about, it might sound like we're going off subject, but we're not, because we're giving you brief histories of the culture that's been going on. See, through policies and assimilation, a lot of people have become forgetful about what they're seeing now. See, our grandmothers, our mothers, and us, you know, that's in that 40 and up club, we've seen, if just briefly, how racism and bigotry and those things affected, if not us directly, those that were just that generation above us. And so now, when you have the perfect soup of ingredients put together, where people are now coming out more bold, send them illegals back over the wall, build the wall. If anybody knows anything about numbers, even if he got the $5 billion for the wall, it's not enough to build the wall that he's talking about. It's not enough.
He ain't even start filling up the holes.
Right. They finding
they got holes, new holes. Every week they got a new hole.
Documentaries, they say every time they start building up some type of
foundation, area, yeah, it's a hole.
That's ground zero for them to go in there and start building some more holes.
See, I know y'all more in tune with it than I am. But see, you saying all that now because you keep up with it more than you tell me this stuff. Yeah. So that just tells me it's something bigger. It's something, with your word, it's something more big, afoot.
And I'm something afoot. and I'm easing up into it because, you know, I don't know where a lot of people are. So you can't just come out and do like a Quentin Tarantino movie and give them the end and then go back and start explaining. You know,
right.
So I like to put a little sugar in the medicine. I'm being nice today, you know, because normally I would just hit. But the history of it, when you watch it and you look, like we said, the argument of the money for the wall is not logical. See, this is something else. You understand? And this is what I'm talking about, the culture. We've lost our spider senses. You know, and no, I'm not dealing, y'all might think about Spider-Man and Marvel, but if you go back and do your history, they got Spider-Man from Anansi. Going back over in Africa, this was an African deity that will sometimes show up as a man, sometimes show up as a spider, sometimes half man, half spider. See, all these things that they take as super herus came from our ancient texts. and the things that people saw back then. You know, it was even stories. You talk about a Superman flying, there was even stories about some of the Africans that was on the ship. They got out of their chains and they flew back home. This is recorded in history. This ain't just ramblings of somebody that's just talking. If you do your research, you'll find out that it's a lot of things that they have hidden from us to keep us in our slumber. And see, the culture has slumbered. Now, what you see, I hear people argue hip hop and things like that, and they talk about mumble rappers and they talk about lyricists. I want to take you on a mental journey of spiritualism. When you're able to articulate what it is that you're going through, that means that you are now consciously connected at a point where your mind and your thoughts can work together and you can produce sounds to relay what you're going through. Right? Now, for all y'all Bible thumpers and other people that's out there, I'm not offending nobody, but I'm hitting facts.
Oh, you warming up now.
Okay.
Y'all will go to church on Sunday, and when Sister Pauline get under the Spirit, what does she do? She mumbles. She talks. She's talking through Spirit. Now, there's a whole brother to Kim. What you trying to say? These mumble rappers and stuff that's coming out here, they in spirit? Yes. It's not the form that you used to sing. That's because they're going off of the beats, the frequencies. So therefore, the gibberish that they're saying may not connect with those of us that are at another frequency, but we still hear the tones.
Because a lot of people, you know, I know a lot of artists and a lot of them say, I can't even do that. He mumble rapping, but I can't even do that.
Right.
You know, they can't do
So
it. I don't know how they do it.
It's a science behind it because it's becoming more emotional. See, when you sit back and you write your lyrics, anybody that's a lyrical in that profession, it's a thought process that goes on. It's a flow. Sometimes it's a block. You gotta get up, you gotta walk around, you gotta take a sip, you gotta smoke a cigarette, you gotta do something. You see what I'm saying? But it was leading into this because most people used to smoke a little marijuana before they went into the booth or they started doing something.
They still do.
Still emulating your ancestors when you go back to the shamans and things that used to go into these psychedelic states to be able to leave the material body and let their consciousness go to another place where they can pull back the answers.
Okay, so question. So so when white people started doing Woodstock, and you know, they was smoking like crazy, and, you know, that's with their blankets of smoking, they was high as a kite on that jump. So were they getting in touch with their spirits? Did they learn that from our culture once we came over and they started seeing things going on?
Well, some of those experiences were based off of military intelligence. You understand?
Okay.
A lot of those things that they were doing as far as in remote viewing and trying to create these super type soldiers and because you got to go way back even past Hitler and all these other people that were using occultism to try to one up the other countries as far as in their soldiers and perception. So when you had the boom of Woodstock, what you had was mainly it was a military op, but at the same time it took another turn because
Psyops.
psyop, because these people started to go on these trips. But one thing is that without melanin,
That I was hoping you
you
would get to.
understand? Without melanin,
It ain't the same
you
as
don't
ours.
have they didn't have the controls, or what I would say the skeleton keys that would unlock certain doors for them to go into. So a lot of them would go to certain points. It's like if you're going through the flow of time, you could go to a certain point, but it was certain barriers that they couldn't cross. And when some of those came through the beginning thresholds, some of them went crazy. They couldn't, when they came back into the corporeal body or the material body, their consciousness was still out there.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that quarter, it wasn't that tuning fork to be able to give them their home and beacon to come back into their shells.
It's like you said before. They need us, and correct me if I'm off. They use us as a battery.
Yeah.
Pretty much. If you turned me on to that knowledge, it's like with your Christmas parties, like you gave an example before, and they make it mandatory for the employees to come in order to get paid. I guess for some companies, they need you there to liven up. You been to a white people? No, I'm not gonna say you've been, but you've probably seen white people parties on TV or been to them. They dead for the most of it, but if they're not, it's usually a black person or people somewhere in the building that livens up the party. It's like they're vampires.
You become what they will say, and you make it official.
Okay.
You understand? Because that's the other thing when you're talking about attention span.
Mm-hmm.
The most valuable commodity right now is not gold, it's not silver, it's not oil. It is the attention. See, that all plays into manifestation. See, people can sit back and they can argue physical things all they want, but it's all connected. That's why I say it's been a break, because they broke spirituality and physical manifestation and all that. They all they compartmentalized it and broke it up. See, our ancient texts and things used to always talk about it as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these was our sciences, and it was our culture. It was all ingrained in one. But now they break it down into subjects, so certain people will pick up certain things, but because they're not getting it as a whole, they don't understand how this relates to that.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
So that's the reason why the schools back in those days were so long. Like you said, kindergarten was how long?
Sure. You might have been in kindergarten 30, 40 years. You understand? You had to study at least 40 years to even solidify your apprenticeship. You know, but that was based upon our longevity, how we lived. Don't listen to them. We didn't die 40, 50 years back then. You see what I'm saying? Our bodies and things were made to exist longer than that. But that plays into radiation and a lot of things that happened back then that most people would see as a science fiction movie. You know, you got to be crazy if you think the pyramids over in Giza and everything, it was just saying, no, that was lush. That was agriculture. You had fields of greenery and all that. When you start seeing stuff like that, those are signs of some type of nuclear holocaust. But I'm not going to break into that right now.
Okay, so, y'all know I study a lot too as well. But I seen something, I want to say a couple of days ago about, I don't even know how to pronounce it, where actually they're taking blood, the elite people,
Oh, you
androgenic?
talking about how they drinking the blood of
Androgenic,
children and
yes.
stuff? That's nothing new, but go ahead and ask the question.
Yeah, so
Explain.
it's nothing new, right? So I believe that's what's happening to a lot of our missing kids, the ones that definitely don't come back. Especially the babies, because like they say, their blood, it makes them younger. It's their cells keep them going. But what is it about our melanin, that's, let me see. What do our melanin do that their skin don't do without the melanin?
Well, the melanin, and it's people that's way more invested in that subject than me. But the melanin, you have to understand, it's like it transforms. It was a Transformers movie out that had I forgot which one it was. Was it it wasn't the Fallen.
The dark side of the moon.
The one where he had that material that it would change and make all these different shapes.
Oh, I don't know.
But what it does is the melanin, it fills in voids. It goes off of thought. It goes off of spirit. It can change. The reason why they haven't been able to bottle it up is because every year they study it, it changes.
Damn, I bought the wrong book.
You understand? And so therefore it gives, it's like a for lack of a better term, it's like a supernatural liquid. You see what I'm saying? That it's like it gives you what you need. It's adaptable.
Venom.
You know, and they have to have that for their structures and their DNA to be able to make the shift. This is why you see a lot of killings in different cities. What Dick Gregory used to talk about a lot of times, organ stealing. See, they're trying to fill themselves up with these melanated organs in hopes to get that generator to be able to push out that melanin so that they can make the transformation. You understand? That to be able to adapt. If you look at the movie Predator, the last Predator that came out, remember the Predator was a hybrid, right? You found out that the predators had been coming here studying us because they wanted to terraform Earth and make it their own. But they had to study the inhabitants to figure out what they were up against, right? So you had this soldier who saw it come down. He had stole the suit and sent it to his son. You find out that the suit, spoiler for all those that didn't see it, but go back and look at it with a metaphysical eye. The predator had bought a suit down that was able to combat them. This outside force. At the end of the movie, you see that the suit, as soon as he put it on, it wrapped and encapsulated his whole body. I tell you, when you look at these movies, yes, look at the action, look at what's going on, but listen to the dialect, the dialogue that's being said in the movies. When that suit showed itself, he said, well, when it was shown, they said, "What's that?" He said, "That's my new suit." That suit was pure black. That was melanin.
See, and that helps. Metaphysical terms, that helps him go out into the cosmos and space and all of that kind of stuff. Because these white people ain't been out to know that it's so many factors that's included with going out into space. You mentioned the word radiation earlier. You know how many different types of radiation is out there? How do they know what type of suits to make for each different radiation as far as each little section or pocket of space that they enter? That's a lot.
That's a lot of things that they wouldn't even theoretically be able to condition a ship for.
Yeah, but it's 3 or 4. It's three or 4, and I bought the wrong book with these notes about melanin in them. But it's 3 or 4 different types of melanin. Yep. We're the only ones that have the. I think it's neuromelanin that the European doesn't have. It's one of them that they don't have, and that's what they want. You know what I'm saying?
Everything, every movie they show it to you. Look at Venom.
I think, yeah, Venom.
He's encapsulated by this they say parasitic entity that now encapsulates him, allows him to do things that he normally wouldn't be able to do, endure more.
Look at the other one with Tobey Maguire when
when the suit was on him.
He could dance. He had rhythm and everything. So that's what they answered. That's what they want.
See, these were the questions that Dick Gregory was jokingly saying when he said, you go back into slavery and they had the mammies, right? And they used to, you know, the master and them children ain't my master.
Well, our people used to breastfeed their babies.
They used to breastfeed their babies, and people thought Dick Gregory was joking when he said he was doing research to find out how long would it take if you keep drinking the milk before you got the benefits of it. Because when every species creates or produces or lactates and produces milk for their young, that's for that species.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So how long would you have to, just like cow milk is built for cows.
Mm-hmm.
Strong bone structure. You see what I'm saying? To carry all that weight and things like that. So when we were ingesting and drinking it and taking it in, that's when we got that cycle of obesity. You see what I'm saying? See, what we're seeing is obesity because we're taking in foreign subject, you know, foreign material into our body that was made for a whole nother genetic structure. So now if you had the mammies feeding their children, how long would it take before they started showing some of the benefits or the side effects of what they were ingesting?
Like liking another black, or they said back then, colored girl. Mm-hmm. And then their parents be mad at them for liking somebody outside of their race, but damn.
It's in them from the genetic material that was being ingested. You see what I'm saying, at the time. So this is where you had some of your breaks or feelings of empathy. You understand, and things coming in because it was starting to be a spark. Not a lightning bolt, but a spark that started getting them to feel certain ways that allowed a change to come. See, a lot of people don't understand everything is interconnected. We don't just move and flow separately. Everything that we do has to play out in some way or form, and it affects everything around our ecosphere.
It's like the activity we did outside the library that one time years ago, and T said, I'm gonna paraphrase. He said, "Man, let me show you something." He said, I forgot even how he said it, but he said we was looking at the street in front of the library, between the library and Rivertown. He's like, "Man, see that yellow car? Just example, paraphrasing. See the yellow car just went up the street, then the gray car, then the blue car. Now, I forgot how you said the law of whatever. It has to be the same color cars come back the opposite way. And sure enough, within that minute, the same colors cars came the opposite way. That goes into saying everything interacts. It's a chain of reaction for everything. What you say, what we saying here today is gonna affect somebody one way or another going out over these waves.
Right, and we're not putting fear into anyone.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let them know we're not putting fear into anyone. This is just reality, y'all.
It's coming about because I indirectly saw a comment. It was very strategic, but I'm a Libra / Scorpio. I'm a cuss. We look right through past that stuff. You see what I'm saying? You can try to dress it up and put all you want on it, but we'll see right through it. It was a comment made that all these so-called conscious people out here supposed to be conscious, but all they doing is purported fear.
Oh, that's how it was said.
Yeah. I said, okay, you know, my friends listen. I don't see nobody else that you could be listening to.
But what are you getting out of it by putting fear in other people?
Well, what people
supposedly.
Hold up. The first thing that I will address, if fear is in your vocabulary, you're not conscious.
Right.
Because, like I said, the thing that I use about fear is false evidence appearing real. You're afraid of something that ain't even happened yet, like as Will Smith would have said.
Right, and that's like I told you, me coming up, I used to be scared as hell of Revelations. They be like, don't read the last chapter of the Bible yet. Don't. Like, what, girl? Why not? You ain't supposed to read that yet. Then, you know me. That only made me more curious.
And it draws your curiosity. But see,
talking about fire coming from the sky and all that.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Oh, that was a sci-fi movie right there.
That's scary.
Oh, Michael Bay back there.
Coming,
you know?
horses coming down
Right.
with the Grand Reaper on the jump. I mean, that's
in the
fear.
sky.
That's scary.
Right.
You know, I used to go outside and look for it. Them
Right.
bad thunderstorms that used to be down south. The
I
sky
love
turned lime
Oh,
green,
they used to
man. I
tell us
never seen anything like that
I seen the
before.
jump turn yellow at Max.
I
Then
seen
I'm
my
like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where
I
you
seen
been?
my grandmama chase me down one time in the backyard because I killed a snake and I hung it on a tree. She, superstition, get that snake out of that tree or a thunderstorm. I said, oh man, there you go. But the fear, false evidence appearing real, you're afraid of something that hasn't even happened yet. And going back to a point that I want to make about when you were talking about how I was explaining about the cars going up the highway, I'll now go back to the Matrix and say, would it have happened if I didn't say it? See, a lot of people don't understand that we inflict or affect the reality around us by speaking. See, when you look at these Harry Potter movies and different things like that, you see them wave their, acacia wood and cast these spells, and so your mind is locked on. That's what happens when you cast a spell. But I ask you, where was the magic wand when you were in elementary school and they were teaching you how to spell?
Number 2 pencil.
Right.
wood, pure wood.
Then they taught you how to speak, how to pronounce certain words. We were in a magical school all along. So now when you start to speak, the same people that talk against it will then hit you with a scripture and say, life and death are in the power of the tongue. Right? So when you hear Trump talk, and people say, he's not being factual. He's not, we have to fact check him. But then you had, just last night, the 40th anniversary of the Sugar Hill Gang?
Yeah.
They talked about all this stuff that they didn't have, but now you look in hip-hop. Don't they got that? It's what we used to call fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
You speak something long enough,
It's gonna happen.
and then it starts to manifest. Now, depending on the level of consciousness or how much emotion, go back to the movie Ghost. When you had them in the subway, what's the guy's name? Patrick Swayze, and the other guy, and he was trying
tall
to
guy.
trying to learn how to move things. He said you got to take all your anger, all your emotion, and you have to push it out in one big motion, right? And when he did that, that's when the trash can moved. See, down here, when we animate this corporeal material body, that's based upon that spark that's being put inside of us. Everything's run off of a certain electromagnetic energy, right? So when we speak, we're changing the atmosphere around us by the utterances of the frequencies that we say.
Right.
This is why you had to be taught to say things. This is why they wanted to take your mother tongue away from you. Because when you started speaking things with a frequency that's been ushered in to make things move and happen, you get quicker results. But see, we've been in this corporeal manifestation for so long that now things come out frequently when we speak. Not instantaneous. See, we had the power at one time to say something and it instantaneously
manifest right
then and there. Oh, we don't. A lot of people couldn't handle that right now, because some of the stuff that come out of our mouth, if we said it.
What am I thinking? I'm sitting here thinking that you talk about manifestation and speaking it, and I'm for some reason seen, or like back in the Indians when they had the tribe and they tried to make it, when they make it rain?
I was just thinking about that. Oh my
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to pause. It was like my man, and I had my man Della Rosa.
That's what I was
online with me one day, because a lot of people thought I made this up. We had a tour. We was deployed to Kosovo. Our unit built Camp Bondsteel. You can look it up. It's the only structure from space that you can see other than the Great Wall of China. Mm-hmm. And it was just, we was on guard duty one day, and I said, Della Rosa, you think I can make it? It was some Indians taught me down south. I said, you think I can make it rain out here if I did a rain dance? He's like, Hancock, go for it. If you say you can do it, I think, Slim. I got up there and started doing and spinning around and started, doing the hollering and stuff like that. Don't you know, 3 to 5 minutes later, started pouring down. All my man could do was just laugh and go back in the sea hut, man.
It's them lumbees.
Yeah.
And them lumbees.
And see, that's the energy that we had. These are the things that lie dormant. This is what, when they talk about junk DNA, see, these are the things that are inside that when called upon, they activate. This is what happens when a mother is in the car and the car starts to go down the road with her child, and for some reason she can grab the car and stop that car and pull her child out. This is what happens when somebody is being beat upon and can throw 3 or 4 people off of them. You see what I'm saying? And get down the street. You see what I'm saying? These things come on. We have been using them as survival mechanisms, but when honed and trained, you can call upon those energies to affect your everyday life. And these were the sciences that were being taught back in the ancient times in our culture. And we do these things a lot of times subconsciously. And so this is why I said when we talk about culture, we have to go into a deeper conversation, and even in what I call the rites of passage. See, we in ancient times we had rites of passage before men could be men, and women can be women.
Right.
Now, because of us being uprooted and placed in different ways, you still have what I would call the, I hate to say problem, but it's ingrained in us to still have these types of rituals done, but without a leader or without the regulations, I would say. Mm-hmm. Now it turns out and it shows itself in bullying. It shows itself in somebody wanting to one up the other person. Competition has always been in our culture.
Oh yeah.
But it was always usually controlled. I mean, you talk about, you had rites of passage that if you failed that rites of passage, you couldn't get married. Your family was disgraced. So it was more of a willingness to learn so that you wouldn't dishonor your family, so that you wouldn't dishonor your bloodline. But now without the foundations of rites of passage, see, it's a lot of people that just because they in their 50s or 60s, we call them men. But they consciously have not gotten to that level yet. You still have women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and on up that still have not come into what was deemed of being a woman. Because the controls and the foundations have been lost. So now we come to a foreign country. Well, I ain't even gonna call it foreign because that's another story we was here too. But the laws that were mandated and put down, just because they threw a timeline on it, when you get 18, you can do this. When you're 16, you can do that. When you're 21, you can do that. It's 21-year-olds that are still not mature consciously.
Yes, indeed.
And I can show you a 9-year-old that's more mature than a 40-year-old. So the way that the system is ran is based upon somebody that had no idea of how our consciousness works. Theirs might have ran off of that. You understand? And when you go back to some of the barbaric, you see what I'm saying, cultures that they were in, oh yeah, you had to put some checks and balances in place. Somebody won't get their head beat in. Now, saying that, not saying that we didn't have our moments of savagery. You see what I'm saying? But still, when you look in history and look at the culture, we have had more moments of sanity than any other culture. And that's what it gets buried and gets put in the shelves and in the file cabinets of history. Because once you tell a person, or they know, see, I can tell you all day, you're a queen. Right? I can tell you that all day and tell you, say, your ancestors were some of the fierce warriors that ever did. They ruled commerce, they had trade. But that's a secondhand experience. Now, if you researched and you start to see this, they say, you know what, your grandmama, you know, she used to do this, this, and that. Huh? Grandma? Yeah. And her mama used to do this, this, and that. Huh? For real? What normally happens? You take a breath, your back get a little bit straighter. You start to stand a little bit more upright because now you're getting the history of what has flowed through your bloodline. This is why it's so important to keep that from us, because they say if they ever find out and wake up to who they are, it's over for them.
Oh yeah. And I'm glad you man, we all vibing in here right now, and I'm glad you segued, John, like to that, because I wanted to get back to the shutdown thing and the preparedness. Like, I mean, because we're gonna, like I said before, if us as a people don't make some type of change, nature is gonna do it for us, and that's what's going on right now. There's no reason. Like, we really have to get serious about these preparedness groups and all of that, because the time is here where we're gonna need each other. The time for the beefing and killing, these little youngins getting killed, people being that, I don't think it's happened anytime. I don't think it's happened as much now as it has years ago, where an elderly person in their house dead for 2 weeks and the neighbors don't know nothing about it. When did they start doing that? Since when did we stop checking on our elders and all that, make sure they all right
even
and
then,
all that?
You can smell it. You can smell it. You ain't check on the smell.
Even with the smell, nobody checked on. I remember this literally. Nobody checked on that house or anything. That people was just saying that they know that Miss Such and Such will come out of her house, this, that, and the third, do her. Nobody. Why y'all ain't knock on the door or nothing? I was in the years ago, back in 2012, and I always say this. It was a little girl that was raped in Glass Manor. A guy was broke in the apartment on his way to steal or whatever he was doing. He broke in where he broke in, that was the girl's room, raped the girl on his way to go steal or whatever. Man, I saw that on the news. I just broke down crying, man. Grabbed my sword. I walked all the way from Tor Bryant all the way to Glass Manor. And don't you know, when I got there, man, these people was protecting this dude.
What?
I was like, man, what you gonna do when you find it? Well, when you see his head rolling down this hill, you gonna see. It was people out there protecting this guy. Where do they do that at?
That's because of the fear of change. You understand? And see, this is what's going on with this shutdown. People don't understand that you're being forced to come together. You're being given the time to come together.
Exactly.
And be able to formulate and make bonds.
And see, right there, right there, this is why we say, and people of like mind say, we're glad Trump is in office. It's not that we're for Trump or anything like that. This is the time for us to really get our stuff together. We're going to have to unite. And those that can't.
This is the part of the movie of Wizard of Oz where they walk into the opium fields and they fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you say now, Trump, I mean, me personally, I don't know. You understand? I tend to have to know people to formulate a opinion or something on them. But I look at what's happening. See, everybody likes to be lied to. They say it. A woman come in there and say, "Baby, do I look nice in this dress?" It's like Russian roulette. You know, if you say, "Hey, hey, you know, I don't think you should wear that," you got a whole round of pain coming for you. You see what I'm saying? And so, first off, we have to be honest with ourselves. See, if the shutdown in today, what would happen? What lesson would they have learned? Nothing. They'll go back to their jobs, start paying off their bills.
Oh, we knew it was going to end
Right,
soon.
we knew it was going to end soon, and they shouldn't have took this long, and they go back to their snootiness. Everybody starts to forget within a week, once they get their first paycheck. Hey, their ribs ain't touching no more. They don't care. But see, right now, with everybody being in a crisis, whether it be manufactured, false flag, or whatever they want to call it, I personally tend to say, when you talk about shutdown, you go in the law dictionary, it talks about a cessation of work production.
That's the Black Law.
Right, Black's Law
Dictionary.
So that means that we're talking about a corporation. The United States is a corporation. The president is just like any president of a company, right? But now you have everybody going home. They're not getting paid. They have to come to work and do things like that. If you look at it, this is the same thing that happens in bankruptcy proceedings. What you're seeing could possibly be a reset of world currency.
Right. So, like what you were saying on your live about the workers that are furloughed.
Right, and see, this is the other
and it's
thing.
called the what?
A lot of, some of them do and some of them don't know. When you've been furloughed 30 days or longer, you can now get, or what can be called, brought into a call is a RIF, R-I-F, reduction in force. You understand? A lot of procedural things go out the window as far as them being able to fire people, or what they'll gently say is laid off. See, if they run the government at a certain production level and can get certain things done, if they're doing a reorganization as they do in bankruptcy proceedings, they can sit back then and reduce the workforce. Tesla just announced it, said they're cutting back 7%, 3,100 people without a job. I didn't find out if it was Ford or GM that said, January, which is this month, they said this in December, that they were getting rid of 15,000 jobs?
Ford, no, it was 6 figures.
6.
It was more than that?
6 figures.
Right, and these are jobs that are not coming back.
And all this is getting done by March, because March is the...
March is, if you go back in the ancient calendars, was the official beginning of the new year.
And guess who just said that on their thing? Pharaoh.
But when we talk about the ancient calendar, you had 3 seasons. Each season, each season had consisted of 120 days, which gave you your 360 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was like 2 to 5 days that were. I think it was more so 2 to 3 days that were given off as like a reset period before you actually went into the new year. Now that seems to me that was more in line with how things go. See, the calendar as we know it was changed. January and February didn't exist in the old calendars in the months.
But see,
January was added for Janus, the Roman god Janus, of new beginnings and things like that. Go do your history. It's out there. Your research is there. They added a lot of these things to the calendar to change up, and it was a decree given out by I forgot that Pope's name.
Which one?
Was it Julius or something? I don't like quoting out wrong
yeah, I don't
information.
even keep up with all
You know, but he moved January and everything into to be the beginnings of the new year. So you look at for all my tech heads, gamers out there, you got another game coming out called Division 2, March 15th.
Right.
And it's set in DC. And it's all about trying to establish order after a plague broke out. Same synopsis of what happened in World War Z. And so when people sit back and say you preaching fear and you talking about you're supposed to be conscious and you putting this stuff out here, I take you back to the movie World War Z when Brad Pitt went over to Israel. And they had a wall already set up. And he asked them, he said, how were y'all prepared for this? How did you know? And the way that the Israeli intelligence guy told him was that it was a council and they had 10 members on that council. Those 10 members would sit back and they would make contingency plans for certain scenarios. Now, if 9 people on that council came up with an agreement to go with one or another plan, it was the job of the 10th person to go totally against what they said and make a contingency plan against what they thought was going on. So you had to basically go into what would be the unbelievable or unlikely scenario. That's what my brother right here does. We talk about the scenario that nobody wants to talk about because we have to. It has to be a contingency plan put in place. Somebody has to think outside of the normal parameters that they set up for you, and you fall into that problem reaction solution.
It's called the Hegelian dialectic principle. They create the problem. The people go to the people that created the problem for a solution. And the people that created the problem in the first place comes up with a solution. But when the people get that solution, it ain't what they thought it was going to be.
Right. Same with this whole thing dealing with the SNAP benefits. When I saw how everybody was coming together and everybody was feeding the federal workers, I said, oh, here. You know, like how they do over in Parliament. Here. You know, I said they doing something good. But I had to go back into that other contingency. I started saying, hold up, there's a lot of people in the hood and low income families and people that's just down on their luck. Where was this food when they needed it? So my jaw started to sink a little bit. I said, hold on. Now let me ask the question, where's all this food coming from?
With there being no food inspectors.
Right, I said, where's all this food coming? But just where is it coming from? Because, yeah, you had the stores, and like I said, a lot of y'all was going to these restaurants, and a lot of people have good hearts. They want to see you eat. But don't miss that low hand with that knife underneath, that a lot of them is feeding people because they saying, okay, if we feed them now and take this small hit, when the government open back up, if the government open back up, there'll be loyal customers because they'll take this moment of kindness and will be loyal to us because we were there for them. So it's another marketing strategy. They can write off
tax write-off
what they gave you.
Yep.
Now, the other thing is, where's all the food coming from? And things ponder my mind that other people don't think about. You know, I think about silly stuff like, you know, who sauced the first rib? The first one. Who thought about putting sauce on the first rib? Who sat back and put peanut butter and jelly together? Who did the first one? You know, I think about stuff like that, so it puts my mind in a
no, go ahead.
yeah, it puts my mind in a different place. So I said, where's all this food coming from? So then I heard Trump's talking about halving up the SNAP benefits and giving people boxes of food.
Right.
Handpicked by them, said it would bring their costs down, and then they can ensure that the families are eating nutritious. They're getting some form of nutrition.
Right. That would be almost a year.
Right.
February 12th will be a year that he said that he wants to slash food stamps and replace them with a blue apron type program.
And and you know, blue is one of their colors, the color of deception.
Now, when you sit back and you look at that, now think about it. You hear all these doomsday and apocalyptic tales about how they want to control the people and they have to do what's called depopulation. Right? If I sit back and tell people to come get vaccinated, let's be honest, niggas ain't gonna, they ain't coming with open arms to get no needle.
No.
Right? But for the people that are on SNAP benefits and enjoy the benefits, if you make it mandatory that they have to get these boxes, you can induce this food
Right.
with anything that's out there. Because also remember, right now we're at a time when the FDA has no inspectors.
You know, every time I look around, man, it's a new Gwen Tower up. So they could be putting nanobots in the food too.
Nanobots, and then all that's going to be affected when they throw out the 5G. You know, so now if you look at movies that go back to like early 2000s, 1999, when the race of people were taking, they had regiments of pills that they had to take. And what these pills did was nullify their emotions. It nulled them. So now if I'm giving you food that's coming from us and we've tampered with it, that's an easy induction system into controlling the populace and dulling them down to kill off some and suppress others. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is the ingredients are there more than ever for some type of, whether it be a false flag or natural occurrence. Something, event to happen. Right now, the Democrats are dug in, and let me speak about the Democrats for all y'all out there. They love Pelosi. I haven't heard not one of them offer up a smidgen of their paychecks. They not down there with no 18-wheelers giving out no food.
Well, actually, I just seen something where, what's the guy name? he was saying that the Democrats should give up their paychecks as well.
But they haven't.
But they haven't. I just seen it earlier this morning.
So, like I said, you got some good-hearted people out there, but we know it's some snakes and vampires on both sides.
Yeah, on both sides. Yeah.
Republicans definitely ain't doing it. So while y'all sitting out there crying, Democrat, Republican, they both are wings on the same bird.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all following that turkey right, right to the pot.
And from his thing last year talking about the food boxes, this is part of it. It's like
Bird boxes.
Yeah, for the past 40 years, the Agriculture Department has distributed benefits as either paper coupons or the virtual distribution of electronic benefit transfer cards, allowing recipients to use them as cash on food of their choice in their grocery store. But under Trump proposal, the Agriculture Department has dubbed America's Harvest Box. All households receiving more than $90 a month in benefits, which is 81% of SNAP household overall, will begin receiving about half of their benefits in the form of government purchased non-perishable food items. Which, though, and they already know what food they want to give you. Mm-hmm. Okay, so these foods would include shelf-stable milk,
Dry milk.
powdered milk, juice, grains, cereals, pastas, peanut butter, beans, and canned meats, fruits and vegetables. According to the USDA, the department estimate that it could supply these goods at about half the cost of retail, slashing the cost of food stamps or SNAPs while feeding the hungry.
Now, y'all heard what she just said.
Nah, I stick with my noodles.
Y'all heard what she just said, but
you stick with your what?
Noodles.
Yeah. Y'all heard what she just said, but let me tell you, that's an oldie but goodie. Mm-hmm. Because it's happened before. Y'all say, we can't have that. It happened before. Go back to the comedic stories about that block of cheese.
That government cheese, that welfare cheese that make them best grilled cheese sandwiches in the world.
Them powdered eggs.
All that was in that box that great grandma and them used to stand in line and get.
That can that had that cowl on it.
That said beef.
Oh,
and
man.
you make your own barbecue with the ketchup, mustard, and all that. Cut your onions up in that junk.
Good eat.
See, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't know the struggle from back then.
I'd always seen the material, but I never really knew that's what I was.
You got beef and you got pork, and we always.
Yes, we used to have to. We used to get it. We used to have to go down over there by the big chair. It was an office down there, and you had to go down there. And you had
cereal was a plain white box with
that
black.
Cereal was like that popcorn that they put inside the boxes.
Yes.
You put, I don't care how much sugar you put on it. That sugar went right down to the bottom. You had they had the one that had the pork. And like I said, they make that like
beef,
pulled pork. They would
tuna.
stand up tuna. I mean, man, let me tell you, we had that stuff, and like I said, so this is nothing. He's not pulling nothing new out the playbook. They're just rehashing old ideas, but they just gonna have it in prettier packages.
So like we've been saying before, it's like we said months ago, last year sometime, it's like a 80s energy that's coming back.
Right. And I told people
they
that a long
everything
time
goes
ago.
Back. It comes back around.
But it never gets past that mid-90s. You understand? It never gets past that. Now, technology-wise, we boost up, but it's nothing more but the rehashments of what we had. You understand? When everybody had those flip phones and stuff when they first came out, they showed that to you in Star Trek. You know, the military, right? The military has anytime they put something out, they already had it at least 20 years before it happened. For all y'all don't think that things is changing, if you live in the Oxon Hill area, y'all know what they about to do down there in Forest Heights over there by East Oakland. Oh, they about to make it so they can walk and frolic down there, man.
The Tiger Market area too.
Yeah, they rehashing all that stuff, man.
I had left and moved to North Carolina, y'all. When I came back in 2009. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm back in Southeast, but you got white people just walking their dog. Like,
Oh,
You
that's
ain't
Southern
never
Avenue.
seen that
and
before.
look, they to the point where they don't move on the other side of the street now. They
Oh,
just
they
like,
bold. They bold.
I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they know
I'm like, she
what's
must have been a
coming.
black guy. No, then comes the husband jug, and I'm like,
No, they know they be having their little meetings where they're informed of what's
Because
it's safe
they-
to go around there.
I
We'll be
remember.
fine.
I remember the rumors, and I don't have the evidence to it, but this was at least 8 or 9 years ago. Some people that I knew said that they saw Jerry Seinfeld down over there by Valley Avenue. They were looking around. They said the dude told me, he said, man, I swear, he said, that's Jerry Seinfeld down here. But you know that they get the plan. They got a 10-year plan, 15-year plan, 20-year plan. And I thought that was false, but then I started seeing all the activity going on down Valley Avenue. You understand? See, what they do is they allow you, when I'm saying you, I'm talking in y'all communities, they allow y'all to do your crime, tear up your neighborhoods, drink your ice houses, throw them down on the ground, have the ice cream trucks, throw all the trash and stuff down, so that when they come to do an evaluation on the land, they can get low marks or it won't, the property value.
I'm about to say, get it for cheap.
Right. So as the property value comes down, then what happens is they can get grants to come in to revitalize the area.
Yep.
Right. So now they build condos and they say, this is the key. True salesmanship. Y'all can have first crack at it, but it's gonna be so high that you can't get it. Or they may section off 1 or 2 places to
We'll
give
put them in these
somebody-
back apartments back
right,
here.
to give them low income,
Right.
so that they can still get the grant, get the subsidies. But the rest of the tenants will be paying top dollar.
And that is so much facts because the situation with y'all mayor, Muriel Bowser, she closed down the shelter over at DC General. It's down in dirt. It's straight down.
That's because they're killing the homeless too.
Right.
I won't say that. I'm not gonna talk about it.
But I know some people that are in the little other shelters that she got them and she moved them to hotels and stuff like that. They got their little vouchers before all this kicked off. But the whole thing is when they go to these apartments, they still got to meet the requirement, the income requirement, and
Gotta
they're
have that
still
down
getting
payment.
turned away.
You gotta have that down payment.
And this is why I say this is the time for people to cut the BS. And now you're going to have your people that still don't like each people and all of that kind of stuff, but there has to be something, some type of disciplinary type action put in place for that. Now is the time not to BS around, man.
Right.
Now that I'm hearing all of this,
They had programs where they were trying to put tiny houses on some of these
They
abandoned
have
lots.
put tiny
Right.
houses some
But legally,
Georgetown area.
yeah, but legally they really not supposed to be there. So what they do is they pick and choose who they mess with. You see what I'm saying? Because you can get a shipping container for like $2,000-$3,000, and you can rehash that and make that something, or you can do like they do and build up these tiny home communities, run it off of solar power. You understand? You have
And they giving out free classes
Right.
for the little solar power teaching.
Right. And so therefore, you know, at one point when you used to have your solar panels, you were putting energy back into the system, and they used to send you a check. But now they cut that program, and you had to be what they call grandfather. Then you had to been already
On the
had
program.
that, because once you start getting that energy, you start putting it back into the system. They owe you because you giving them energy. You know, and so it's a lot of programs that are set and ready to go, but Bowser and the rest of them, if they not
You
getting
know
no
she
cut,
gotta make sure she get her 10%.
oh, she thought she you know,
Gotta make sure she pay her
She
10%.
she thought that she was something when she went down there and was trying to file for the federal employees to get a waiver to get that money. See, she thought she had more clout than what she thought. And when they turned her around, she was like, I was
Boo-boo
shocked.
kitty, boo-boo kitty,
Right.
you still black.
Right.
I'm using you, boo-boo.
Right.
Hey, I didn't know any of this, so this is why I had
See,
these
Graham
feelings
is
of-
gone. Didn't Graham pass away?
Who?
Senator Graham.
Oh.
He used to be down there. Not Graham. What's the dude that used to wear the glasses and the loud blazers that used to be in D.C. He used to get a lot of stuff pushed, but see now it's just Bowser down there. They don't, man, come on now.
See, I don't get into a lot of
They
that.
look at her
I'm like,
less. First of all, she black. Then she's a female.
oh, yeah.
Right, so
Then she's a female.
so they try to hold back. Come on, she ain't even know what mumbo sauce in. How long you been in D.C.?
But she supposed to be from D.C.
I'm not gonna get into this argument about mumbo sauce.
We ain't.
See, I'm more in tune with nature, so it's like we were talking about the animals and stuff outside. Like, nature tells me when to, all right, man. It's
This
time to
time
get
of
my
year,
stuff
we
together.
shouldn't even see no birds outside.
We just saw
Not
those
up here.
what them turkey buzzards up
Yeah.
there. Last time I was telling
They've
him.
been here for a while though, cause like a few years ago, my granddaughter was just born, so that had to be like 5 years ago. Over on by St. E's, right there on Wade Place. Damn, you say turkey? It looked like a what's the things with the
Turkey vulture.
No,
Condors and stuff,
Not a
buzzards.
the thing that got the pretty tail that opened up.
Peacock.
Peacock.
Yeah.
In the neighborhood, the jump look just like that. And just
They in the hood
and them black boys trying to get it. You know, they trying to get it.
They in the hood like pigeons, but see, the last time I saw them like that was 2 days right before we had that big earthquake. You
And
know?
that's it, because that was right before we had that snowstorm.
Right.
Before we had that big snowstorm, the little thing was right there in our circle.
And you gotta look at it. What do they eat?
Well, my youngest brother told me now where they bought him in from. I have no idea, but he was saying they bring him in and for the carcasses on the side of the road and the deer and all that type of stuff. But we ain't had no.
That's what I was
Ain't
gonna
no
say.
deer been on the road
Honestly,
like
when
that
last
for
time
real.
you seen carcasses like that?
Been a while.
It's been a while, so my thing is, what are they eating? Or what is it that they're sensing when they're congregating certain areas about what's to happen? Because see, that's like them old cartoons and stuff when they sit back and the buzzards be sitting back when somebody be walking in the desert. They steady walking behind them. You know, they
I
follow.
seen that buzzard like 5 miles
Right,
back then. That's
right.
the same one like
Waiting for you to drop. They got patience.
That could be a lot though. It could be some deep metaphysics for real, man.
Because they can sense it. But you look at what's going on in Southeast, man. Look at, let me tell you, when you see all these shootings like that, I'm telling you, they want Southeast back, Jack. They want it back. They said y'all been there too long and they want it back.
Right.
And a lot of y'all playing right into it, killing each other. The beefs that y'all have cannot be warranting murder.
Right. Because when I was doing home health care, I had this old white guy. I mean, I think Mr. Davenport had to be like maybe 87. And he used to say, I used to live off of that place you call Good Hope Road, but it wasn't nothing but dirt then. He said, I was there when they built that liquor store right there at the bottom of Good Hope. And he said, that was all white.
Yeah, because what they did was a lot of them moved and came over into Maryland, and then the blacks moved in.
Capitol Hill. Oh, that was graveyard.
People
Oh,
don't.
that used to be graveyard.
Shaw used to be one of the spots to be. Howie Theater was on the Chitlin Circuit. Jimi Hendrix, all them. You see what I'm saying? Even before them, the people that used to frequent. They had did a play down there called Where Eagles Fly. They gave all the history about Shaw and all the stuff that the streetcars and stuff that used to be down there, and how we used to be all down there. But see, you change it up. Like I said, if you don't have the history, you won't know these things.
Right. And then they got the streetcar in Northeast, and they ready to tear that down. They ready to shut that down. They did
remember I told you I
they
saw a
did
streetcar?
all that. Now that is not making no money.
The
Close it
reason
down.
why they built that, they did their streetcar and stuff like that, because that's to cover up all that construction that they got going on underground.
That's what I was about to say.
Oh man.
Yeah.
See all this frivolous construction that God Lord they've been working on bending road, boy. Oh my
They
goodness.
trying to stop something from
years,
coming
man.
up.
I want to say
You
40
already
something.
know. You already know what
Yeah.
it is. They trying to stop something. Look, like
That's
I
what-
told you before when I was living in Southview, man. They not working underneath them
That's what
that damn ground.
The
all
earthquakes we
times
have
of night.
here are not earthquakes. That's them doing stuff.
You
They're
heard
just vibrating the land.
they was somewhere over by Capitol Hill, I said, but and white folks got to complaining because of all the noise they was making after hours. You know, they try to stop stuff up, but I'm telling you, it's an underground city under DC.
Been
Oh, y'all can laugh, but I remember back in the
Been
80s
there.
when my grandparents and stuff used to work at St. Elizabeth, and they used to talk to us about the trains and stuff that was underground.
under there.
Now they come around, they building all these sports complexes and all that stuff around there. It's an underground city. It's a city that was in DC that they built right over top.
I told you, my mother told me that. She was a housekeeper at the Capitol. She told me about all that. It's like this whole, they have malls up under that joint.
They
Now, I don't
showed
know
you.
if I'm supposed to be saying
Yeah.
any of this. I don't care, but
Oh,
I
man,
had two people in my family work at the Department of Interior and them government buildings.
They showed you in the X-Files. Then they showed you when the guy that had Hamilton, he was on there and he did a live or a tweet what he wasn't supposed to do and showed them down there on that car riding underground. You see what I'm saying? He
Because
wasn't-
actually, it leads, it's one of the trains will go from the White House all the way to the bunker out in Virginia at the resort.
Camp, is it Camp David or something? They go to different. Oh boy, they gonna bust in here so. Man, oh man, let me chew on this chew stick one little time.
yeah, it's like, it's
Yeah,
like they think people don't know.
Yeah.
Some of it's like y'all know more than me. I know
It's
a
people-
little. It's like they think people don't know this
It's
stuff.
people-
Like we innately know it without knowing that we know it or why we know it.
It's people that's living in the subways in DC. You
It's
know,
like they claim people live in the subway in New York. That's
it's
everywhere.
right. It ain't living in the subways here. It's people sleeping on the bridges. These people see things and they talk.
But they
about
tell
it.
them they crazy. They
Exactly.
crazy.
Which
homeless, they
leads me
crazy.
to the people that you see on the train and buses. You see sitting there. I don't talk about them, but I listen to them when I used to be on the trains and stuff. Oh man, they said, man, forget them. I was the best they ever had. And you just see them there.
And a lot of them are from the military.
Yep.
Yeah, and a lot of youngins and stuff laugh at them, man. I say, don't laugh at them. Listen to what they saying.
And see that's the other thing. I mean, where is the communication? See, like we come on, we come off because we know a lot of y'all. This is heavy on your shoulders. You understand when we talk about this shutdown and stuff that's going on, but you have to understand that. What are y'all gonna do? If March comes, and I'm really thinking it's going that way because I know people that are getting EBT,
Right.
and
So what is
they
your
got
plan?
and they got that advance.
That February advance. So
That money went on that card.
it
Now,
started Wednesday.
Anybody that know about EBT know that those suckers don't
Get
do
early for
that.
nothing. If
Dollar.
if your day is on a Sunday, you getting them on
I'll-
Sunday.
I don't care how
You
many
don't get 'em
times you.
Friday or Monday.
No, Jack.
If
I'm
your
right on
day is
Sunday.
on
Oh,
Sunday,
okay.
you ain't getting them fools.
I
That's
don't
to
care
Sunday.
how many times you
I don't
call
even
it.
care if it's a holiday weekend. You're getting them on that day.
I don't
they
care
tight.
how many times you call that number, Jack. That balance gonna be zero until it's time for it to
To
hit.
come right. Ain't no you got it early. None of that.
Let me tell you, I'm talking about because I was.
And a
recipient
lot of people, I think
know.
this woke some people up when they're like, yeah, this serious weed. They gave it to us like, yeah. They thought they was just talking, okay. No.
I saw people in the corner store and I saw them paying for something. I said, "Excuse me." I said, "I don't mean no harm, but did they give you any more food stamps this month?" And she was like, "Yeah, that's why I'm here." She said, "I just wound up calling a card." She said, and there was some more money on it. Oh, okay. So another person asked them the same thing. Yeah, they put the money on there. Oh, so this ain't no fluke.
But see,
That's yeah.
but at the same time, the people can't say that they weren't warned on a lot of stuff because I feel as though, even though they know what they're doing and a lot of us know what they're doing as far as their tricks and all that type of stuff, like we said before, they have to give you some type of warning. They have to give you some type of.
That's part of the procedures. But like I said yesterday, I said when they giving these people stuff out, if we're in bankruptcy, severance package. You understand? A lot of people don't understand that. See, I hear the debate and I hear people bash people that's on assistance and things like that, and they call them freeloaders and they do all this. Do you understand that the way the system was built, all that was built into the system? See, they have grants that they give corporations that's under the guise of welfare. You understand? But they call it a different name. See, a lot of people don't understand how economics and things work when you come to, business, and how all of it is business. All of it is business with them. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So even I can tell people the biggest religion is business. Because if you go and look in the Black's Law Dictionary and look under credit, it says faith.
It say what?
Faith.
Like credit in good faith. Yeah, we gonna give you this credit card, $500 pre-approved, but we have faith. You gonna pay it back. We have been in the church of monetary funds since back in the Sumerian days when they had the tally system. Yeah, I'm about to say when they got rid of the tally stick.
Right.
The tally stick was the most accurate way of you couldn't cheat the tally stick.
Right, so just like when you go to that church and you get 10%, and I don't care how y'all want to argue me down, the only people that were allowed to get the 10% were the Levite priests. And you had to eat or take a part of the share at that time when you were in the temple.
And see, that's my question now for all the churches and stuff, with all this going down. Because a lot of people, especially the youngest, their stuff not gonna last past February. They gonna be out of food.
So what is that gonna start? When ribs get to touching, what happens?
Black people. See, well, I know black people.
Let me give y'all a little bias.
But that's what I want to know. What are the churches going to do about it? These people go there, they paying their little tithes to everyone, here for the building fund and all that. We got all this money we giving the church, but they ain't giving the church.
You mean the IRS ordained ministers?
Yeah. What different. I would say, as far as my opinion about that, I think different churches gonna react certain ways, and then those different churches are probably gonna only cater to certain members and all of that type of stuff, and then that's gonna be the big. That's gonna be the beginning of the end of the church as we know it.
See,
that's what I think.
I think that's the beginning for us. Gonna be the beginning of depopulation because we gonna turn on each other.
When you talk about the churches, we gotta also deal with people. Now, just because I talk about and I make fun of religions and stuff like that, that's because I know the truth. But whatever makes somebody a better person, hey, that's what you do. That's how you deal with your trauma. Because the whole world has a mental problem. So you have people that have good hearts. Yeah, they'll open up the doors. But what can the church do if the people don't have the money to support the church? You understand? Let's see how many pastors gonna go out there and sell that Mercedes.
That jet.
How many assets? Since he's supposed to be the shepherd, right? Mm-hmm. How many of them gonna go out there and liquidate some of that stuff so that the people can eat?
None of them. I say. When I was homeless and out there, you know how many churches I went to, man? All of them turned me away. Especially the one up there, on that big one up on Southern Avenue. Shut the door right in my face.
That's the Staples.
And we talking about churches. Some of y'all ain't gonna be able to go to family members and get a drop.
Mm-hmm. Nothing.
Friends, I'm telling you, I'm not talking it in existence. But stuff is petty. When you get hungry, stuff is petty. And somebody that owed you $5 from 2 years ago,
you want your $5?
They gonna think about that $5.
You ain't got my $5. Give me
a lot of dudes that's been skating. A lot of dudes
gonna be serious.
A lot of dudes in the city that's been skating off a little BS. That's gonna cease when ribs get to touching. You see what I'm saying? But see, this is the soup that they want to create a riot so that they can bring in martial law. And you don't even have to.
They're not ready for martial law.
Well,
we can't. I don't think DC. I don't know about no other places, but DC can't survive much.
It can't survive. And see, the thing is, it's not just going to be United States Army. It's going to be foreign military.
Right.
See,
right.
people
That's
when I was talking about the bankruptcy of the United States, a lot of people don't understand what that's talking about. It's no money. They've been printing IOUs for the longest time. It's not backed by anything. The only way it was going because they pledged the future labor of the slaves of the chattel to the foreign banks. They sat back and took a lot of your instruments at the time of your birth and monetized them and threw a QSIP number on them and gave it some type of value. They've been trading monopoly money for the longest time. China is one of the largest owners of the debt of America.
Yes.
So this is why they're sitting down and having talks with them, because China has now reorganized a lot of their financial institutions and backed their money by gold. Now, how does that affect? Russia's following suit. What they're doing now when they come into these talks is they're offering the gold at a discounted price. I think it's like about 13% right now. They're offering discounted price. See, we could be seeing the world reset. See, because when they no longer buy oil and everything based upon the U.S. dollar, that dollar becomes kaput. See, this is
we about to go to war with Iran. This is the same type of thing that was leading up to Iraq.
You see what I'm saying? And so everything that's the moves that are being made, this is why he's pulling troops. You see what I'm saying? He has to have them home based, and then they also have to have them be ready to go other places. If you notice, they said, was it China ships or Russian jets and stuff?
So
how they in our field?
Russian fighter jet landed over here like 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of things is going on that. See, these are the things that, you know, when y'all sitting up there adding up basketball stats, y'all wondering about who's going to be the next quarterback for Washington. This is what they're doing. These are the numbers that they're moving in their head. Our children know more about how to bank a shot in Fortnite, while their children are out there loading up and shooting at targets.
Somebody had that on Facebook.
Beating the hell out of trees with their bare fists.
Yeah, somebody had that on Facebook.
You see what I'm saying? They're out there doing these things, but see, we sit back and we lay in this slumber of, it was an old cartoon. It had a dog and a wolf. They sat there, working can wait. This is a paradise, work. There ain't no work to do. And they did this whole little stick all summer. That's all they used to play. But when the wintertime came, Porky Pig had been growing his vegetables and had his harvest and was ready, you see what I'm saying, for the winter. They didn't have nothing. So they tried to make an attempt to fight him to get his food. So the whole winter they fight to try to get his food until they start looking at each other. One dog looked at the wolf and the wolf looked like a turkey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They looked at each other. As soon as they about to dig into each other, the weather broke. And you would think they would get out there and get to work, and what they do, they got that banjo again, working can wait.
See, I look at it as a message. That's a warning as far as I'm concerned.
And this is the warning that's been going out for so long. But just like I said, I was at the VFW. And I heard two federal workers, they was out there laughing and joking, two women, older women. And they were like, girl, shoot, they would say, you a federal worker? Yeah, I said, girl, we went down there, we got us the food stamps. I'm saying, okay, they getting the food stamps. She said, child, I went and got me some crab legs. They were $95. I said,
last time you gonna eat crab legs?
My mouth hit the floor. I said, you spent $95 in food stamps. You know what? You could have got
know
how
how much
many noodles and all
and
that stuff you could
perishables?
have got with that. But see, it's new to them. See,
Probably paid for ice.
they still, but they still are under this delusion of, oh, we're gonna be back to work any day. Now, if it goes past the March, she gonna think about them $95 crab
For
legs
crabs.
that she paid for them crabs, and she
It's
gonna
gonna go.
So are we giving this 6 months to a year?
Well,
I was just about to say, if it go, February is the shortest month, and I think it's missing a day this year, so you might just count February gone soon.
well,
as
they
it get
said
here.
Trump said that he was gonna make a major announcement today.
Yeah, I saw
don't
that.
know. I
saw
don't know
that
what
too.
it's gonna be. Big Macs for everybody.
And then even if they do start back going to work, best believe this was a major
Yeah.
test run,
This
and
was
another one is
right.
coming soon. If they go back to work, and I'm not wishing that it come or
Right.
anything like that, but when it starts back, don't get up on your high horse and think that's it.
But let's play
fall
advocate.
off again.
Like we
Yep.
said, if everything right now it looks like it's from what the signs are showing that this is going into February. Now, if it goes past February, like they said, into March, now you got a whole nother thing because now here comes HUD.
But don't forget about the EMP. They
Yeah,
talking
but-
about that.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but see, the conditions have to be set. See, the shutdown has to remain while everybody's cupboards are filled. You see what I'm saying? If like around, if I was to plan, it'd be around like March or April. See, March, if you let it go past March, that's because you really want people to feel it, because HUD now is not able to make the subsidy payments to the landlords or rental units. So therefore now they're in a thing because they still have to pay their mortgages and they have to make money. So therefore they have to put out the people that's there so that they can get money, because they have bills or they doomed to lose it all. So now you have people or already made homeless that now have to go somewhere. And Trump in all his glory can sit back and say, well, look, we got all these people in the streets. Take some of them FEMA trailers and put them out there so they can go out there. It'd be a whole
Welcome to the
new
federal
force that
concentration
would have to
camp.
come out there and start
Welcome
taking
to the
you there.
concentration
And they're
camp.
going to go willingly.
Some families already volunteered for it years ago. They already living at camps.
Just like they did, remember the first purge? Ain't that how they started off when they offered them families money and they came into the program and then they came in there and they wiped them out. You see what I'm saying? So when you sit back and look at what's being planned or what could be in the works, what I'm saying could be way lighter than what they had, because if they release some type of chemical, see EMP, oh, that's just country days. You just gotta get up, do
No
what you
cell
gotta do,
phones
you know.
and do what you got to do before
Hey,
the sun go down.
The only thing you have to worry about is them coming into the neighborhoods, because there's no communication, and starting to depopulate each section that they come to.
And then you say NBC attack.
Right,
Jack.
now,
That's
if
the
you get
only
a-
thing I was nervous
If you
about
get
in
a
Iraq.
you get a biological type of
Nuclear
thing
biological
or
chemical.
something that
yeah.
come in there, oh, you see.
Even with the nuclear blast, it's going to affect up to 100 miles
But see,
from the.
I can't see
Point
them
is
doing
zero.
a nuclear blast right at this second, because they still need the land. They still need the things. So, but biological,
Yeah.
if they've already been vaccinated for it and everything, and you hit people with that, let me tell you, you ain't never seen people hollering and screeching.
Oh,
like
I've
something
seen
get
it.
hit with something.
I've seen it.
And people vomiting and throwing up blood or the skin, or if it's one of them ones that affect the skin, and you start seeing these real
And
live.
see, the thing is, I watch all them horror movies. I love horror movies, Return of the Living Dead, all that. Even since I was young, I'm like, that's some real stuff. They be like, why you say that? I said, because that's a government container he was in. I was like, who would think of having a body in a government container with you break the glass and it comes all up in the air, and now everybody that's dead is alive walking around? I'm like, man.
Zombie apocalypse. And see the zombie apocalypse. If you look at something like a zombie, and we just throwing these up in the
We
air.
just throwing them up, y'all. Ain't nothing.
A zombie
we
thing,
don't know.
right? They're not gonna move like the zombies you see in the movie. They're gonna be like
Like
that World
us.
War Z thing. See, you can pluck somebody that's dragging their ass.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You got a good 6 or 7 shots that you can try to get your aim right.
But how you gonna kill something that's already
But if
dead?
they move,
This is not a movie.
But if they moving fast like that, all that shooting them in the head stuff, that stuff ain't gonna work if that
Well,
body's being
you
animated.
see it with the K2 and the boat and the,
Right.
and the dippers.
That's the beginning of it. That's the
And I
beginning
can tell you
of
from
it.
Right.
from
Come on, they
personal
they
experiences off of that, Jack.
But
Oh my
they're
goodness.
under, in other states, they're under bridges eating people.
Hmm. And see, this is because they have, and for people that know, remember DC was supposed to get rid of K2. So who's
Yep.
selling it?
Murder.
The Arabs.
The Arabs.
The Arabs, they got.
But
them
it's
corner
funny how
stores
they
and
made it
tobacco
legal
stores.
for a limited time. It was legal. Then all of a sudden, bam, take it off.
Because it was legal for.
You
for-
can go in the
for-
store, in the
It
gas
was-
stations,
It was
and get
legal
them.
for a moment, but what happened is they wanted to see what was going to happen.
The reaction, yo.
And see, when they start seeing people getting their nose ate off with bath salts and all that other stuff like that, they said, "Oh, we got a good
Take
one
this
here."
one.
Now, you take that same thing and you induce it into the water like they showed you in Batman.
Like my water looked yesterday. You see that?
Right. You see what I'm saying? This thing can be administered in multiple ways. The food, the water,
And
the air.
look, Michigan still ain't get fixed with their water.
They can't fix it. Just take an act of God to clean up that water. Some crystals and things put down there to change the ecosystem. Certain plants
All
and
that.
things being put down there. That's what it's going to take. Because and then that could be a site that something underground is bubbling up that they don't want to say nothing about.
Because
Energy,
this year,
energy centers.
yeah, because this year, y'all, in DC, when they went down to what is that? Energy. You know, they help you with your pay your electric and all that stuff. Went down there, they gave us this box. So in the box, they had the filter that goes on the
On the
water
water.
thing.
Mhm.
They never had them. They never gave us that
And the
before.
shower heads.
Right. They never gave us that before.
Hmm.
They gave us it's something like this, extension cord with the adapter, but it looks different. It looks totally different, and it ain't like a surge.
Wow.
It ain't a surge plug. It just looks.
Remember when they gave everybody the smart meters, and everybody was up in arms about that. Let me speak. I like when I speak into the mic like that.
What's a smart meter?
The smart meters that they started putting on electric.
Okay.
Yeah,
The,
electric.
Where they ain't have
outside
to come.
the,
They could just
yeah.
stand.
It's
scan it.
digital,
Right.
and they ain't got to come in your house.
You
No,
couldn't
none
put
of that.
you couldn't put a magnet on your thing no more. Not that I'm
Yeah.
speaking from experience, but you couldn't tamper with them like they could. They could shut them off. See now, they don't have to have no argument with you no more. You don't pay that cable bill. They let you go all night, and then about 2:00 in the morning, you'll be looking at something that mess gone. And you, what happened? See, they let you stew for a little bit. Then you call them in the morning. Well, we need to receive such and such from you. Man, if y'all don't cut my cable on, well, sorry, sir, you have to pay the bill. And you calling somebody and they from over there in India.
Yeah, man.
You see what I'm saying? You got to go through. First off, they test your patience with the selection menu. You see what I'm saying?
And they can hear you when
Right.
you talking. They can hear you because you know me. I
Right.
done cussed out plenty of them, man. It's like,
This
well, sir, we heard what you.
But this is how
okay.
this is how they get you. And see, when they have it with you calling all these foreign countries and they reading from a script, they can't help you unless that money's there.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Pepco.
They don't care what you got to say. Excuses or
Pepco,
anything.
Pepco don't want to hear nothing if you ain't got at least 75% of their money.
And I'm like, okay, so what are they going to do now? We got all these people out of work, not getting paid, but them bills are still going.
See, the
Well, they
company.
telling them
And then
to
it's
call-
up to the
The
utility
com-
company, just like the landlord, just up to the utility company. If
Yeah,
they want to keep
well,
you with your power.
Right, but
They're
see,
they're telling them to call ahead of time and try to work something. I just heard
See,
this
I
morning.
ain't got
on the
nothing
news.
to give you.
yeah, but see, the whole thing is this is they putting out that script. But see, if you look at it, like I said, I look at all the scenarios. People are not able to pay bills. what this does, this starts now to affect the stock market to help bring about the falsified crash so that they can say, oh, you know, the money is gone. See, it's many ways that they stirring the soup now that they can say it's coming from this angle, it's coming from that angle. Or they can say it all happening at the same time. So you don't know what's going on. It's funny because every day you look on YouTube, it's some different group talking about how the dollar collapsing, how the stock collapsing, how it's supposed to be 71-something thousand arrests of elite. How you gonna arrest 71,000 of them at the same time?
Them foreign militaries say they got coming in.
They got them foreign militaries coming, but I'm saying the number is exaggerated. I'm not saying that they're not gonna get them because a lot of them are now all that stuff that they were putting out there, finding out the connections through the human trafficking, the child sex rings and stuff like that. See, that's another thing that they don't talk about. See, they don't tell you about a lot of them massage parlors and things like that been trafficking people. When you go into those buffet places that you see them Koreans, you think they happy to serve you, and they actually there been smuggled and sold a bill of goods, and now they over here with an apron performing happy endings at the end of the night. They don't like that.
You can tell which ones they are because they automate like the buffet in Rivertown over there. They all in there.
And people
you can tell by how they carry themselves.
They showed you that in the Blue Sleeve movie. I mean, I'm not going there. But
Hostel. It's one of my favorite movies. Don't ask me why. Hostel.
Oh.
You go over there, they catching you while you on the train, already taking your picture, sending it there, and they done got the bid for you already.
With that being said, if you're an organ donor on your license or ID, better go get that taken off,
because they gonna come to you.
You got a target on your back.
Well, we in a time and age now that donor thing don't even mean nothing. That's just the quick search.
But then that leads me to the gold blood. You heard of that?
You talking about the what was it?
The
again?
RH, the gold blood.
Oh,
that's Rhesus monkey DNA.
Okay,
that's what the R stand for.
The RH negative, and only a few got it. But guess what? It's mainly our people.
I think that's, I don't know, cause that's like I said, that's Reese's. That's Reese's monkey DNA, and we know who the monkeys are.
See that may, and it may be a code that like I said, if it ain't our people controlling the testing and knowledgeable about all that, you know,
the RH negative.
You never know what they could be doing. That could just be another manifestation of melanin, and they giving it that title and everything to try to tamper around. You see what I'm saying? Just like they got that movie, The Passage. I mean, the TV show, The Passage now, with this little black girl. They say, you may be humanity's last hope. And what happened? They got all the other people turned into vampires and stuff. Talking about that they created another race. And he said, why don't you just call them vampires? He said, vampires don't exist. Come on, man. You know, so... And this is why they dealing with the children, because the children come in with that coded in their DNA for the new. It's just like if you get the new upgrade of software, right? If you get the new upgrade of software, it has fixes for the bugs and things that the software before it came in, or the download before it may have missed. Right? So it's the same thing when you look at the genetics in the blood that come up in the next generations. They take all the experiences and things that's patterned in the blood and the genetics, and it adapts. That's why your children can come out and it's like they grab this.
Yes, because my granddaughter,
baby can have
she'll be one next Sunday, and she can pick my phone up
and just go through it, because it's already superimposed in the consciousness based upon the blood and the genetics. So now they take it steps more further. And so with that being done, this is why they deal with children, but see, they get more of a rush out of it based upon the adrenaline and the things, endorphins that go in it when they put these children through trauma.
Yes. They say it's better when they're scared.
Right.
Hell out of
They
them.
go in there and
They want them to be scared when they kill them.
I implore
Because it
people
makes
to go and look at all these adoptions that they have from these foreign countries and see if you can find these kids 2 years later.
Where Mel Bowser get her baby from? Oh shit! You know she just adopted a baby. Where she get her baby from? What she doing?
I don't put nothing past. Like Dick Gregory said, question everything. I don't know who's a player. It's like the Matrix right now. If they not out the Matrix, they can pop up in that red dress at any time and turn into an agent. You never know what's going on. A lot of y'all gonna find out if this thing going on. You gonna find out. All the people, all the relationships are gonna be tested. Love is good when you got that check coming in. A lot of y'all fellas, I hate to say it, your woman ain't left you because you had that good government job.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Right,
man.
but with this being tested, see how the arguments start coming. See how she started calling you less than a man because you ain't getting out there doing what it takes to put food on the table.
But then we have them women out here that they're more for their men than for their kids. So when you down to the last and you got to decide who you gonna feed, your man or your kids.
You're right. Yeah. They'll feed their man
They
first.
feel that.
Don't act like y'all ain't out here.
Yeah. Don't act like I'm talking love.
It's getting hot in here now.
Yep.
Yeah, so you gonna have that. Like
he
I said,
young. He well, that's the more the kid needs the food.
things gonna be tested.
That's gonna be when the child get a little older, and that's gonna be that one out in the street, like they are now.
If we get
Don't
to
forget
that
them, the
point.
crack babies out here, trying to survive.
And that's where everybody's at now. Everybody's in survival mode. See, right now, if this thing goes on, that lady down the street, the candy lady, them people gonna remember you, the candy lady, when they can't get no food.
Oh man,
they
I
coming.
went to get it sold in Canada. She got a whole stack in her closet.
Right. Yep. Look at the two dudes, the cowards that beat that old lady, 69-year-old lady, to try to steal her car.
Where was this at?
What part of DC was that? North?
Oh, this was our area?
Yeah, it's our area. I want to say
they tried. They hit her with a pipe.
Black people.
Yeah.
Black, Mexican. I can't tell from the all this technology we got. We still getting these grainy videos.
Yeah, because all the videos lately,
you know, all them cameras weren't put here for crime. They was put here to see how we survive. How we survive. We don't try to get these niggas out of here for years.
They're getting the show then.
Yeah, so I mean they do.
I want you to touch on where you was talking about the mates being faithful. Tie that in with the blood moon. The blood moon.
Faithful mates in the blood moon.
With the thing with
the wolf going to see the
them being faithful. And with the shutdown. With
because the rituals. You gotta understand, it's 3 major blood moons that's coming. One's this month, is Sunday, which is a blood wolf moon. Let's say that it's a blood wolf moon, and it's an eclipse that's going on with that. Then you have another one in February. I think it's February the 19th.
Had they ever came back to back like that before?
I don't think they came.
I
never heard.
They came in the same year, but not back to back.
So is the eclipse Sunday as well?
Yes. Yes, it's
something.
I think
I ain't know.
I
ain't know all that.
So this is why you hear people like Soulja Boy and all them coming out riffing and doing all that stuff because they trying to stay relevant. You see what I'm saying?
Funk Flex,
it's sacrifices that have to be made.
Soulja Boy don't look like Soulja Boy. I think he'll clone.
I mean, I don't trust anybody that hit that certain $1 million mark to be.
He been hit it.
I just think all of the clones, when they come out, they always cover their eyes. Their eyes are always covered.
Well, they tell them to do that because with the paparazzi and the flashing of the cameras and things like that. See, if
Get
you
Out showed it
right,
when he took that picture.
Right. If you in a trance, you don't have to be a clone. You could be just in an induced state. You see what I'm saying? A hypnotism, or MK Ultra, where they could superimpose certain things upon your consciousness, and see that flash. It can either wake them up, or it can send them berserk. That's why sometimes you see a lot. If you notice, who did Chris Brown attack all the time?
The cameraman. And that's what he's going through right now. A cameraman from, I want to say, maybe a year, 2 years ago, coming up with something against him for hitting him.
You see what I'm saying? So you have a lot of these celebrities. They go through their motions where sometimes you see them. Sometimes you don't even know where they at.
And they always got a handler. Like Dave Chappelle always had. You never noticed that at one point in time, Dave Chappelle, Donnell Rollins was always around Dave Chappelle.
I'm rich, bitch. And then what he was saying, that might have been a trigger. You see what I'm saying?
He was always with him, but now he's not. There's a tape that was floating around on YouTube from Dave Chappelle's cousin. I forgot her name, but if you just type it in the search engine, you can find it. Where he wanted her to play a tape in the event something happened to him, and she explained how he was a clone. It's like gotta be like if I'm not mistaken, it's like a 2 or 3 hour long.
And for people that's out there, when we talk about cloning and stuff, they say, "Oh, there you go." They follow us the whole way. Oh, there you go again. You understand? Cloning is real. You understand? They can tell you they can clone sheep and animal, and y'all go inside that grocery store.
They said that back in the 80s.
Right. And all the chicken legs are so uniformly fat.
Same size.
Just the way you said it.
Uniformly fat.
Hey, you go in there, each leg the same size.
But you know who signed off? You know who was one of the ones on the committee that signed off for that? Michael Jackson. Signed off on that back in the 80s too.
He invested in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so when I talk to people, even physically, when you look at the creation as far as in conception and birth, that's nothing but cloning. All they did was learn how to take that mechanism and speed it up.
Look at all these stem cell banks now.
Right. You think they just gonna stop? You think
you can take a piece of your umbilical cord and put it in here, and then years later you get
They getting placentas.
Let it go back.
They don't even want you to take the placenta home when you know a woman has a child, because they use that for medicine.
You can't even take your tooth with you no
Right.
more. You get a tooth.
Yeah,
Me and the dentist had a back
get
before I
stem
moved to
cells off
Michigan. Back in 2012, he's like, "What you want your tooth for, nigga? It's mine."
mine.
What do you mean? What are you gonna do? So my temper started. I said, "Go, all right, go ahead, man."
It's a database. All they gotta do is look up your history, look up your medical records. They see you. They need to make a quick clone.
So is that why the Caucasian women are starting to eat their placentas?
Well, they doing that because they're still looking for solutions to their declining birth rate. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's a fact. The whole thing about abortion, they don't care if melanated women or other people of other cultures go in there and terminate their babies. They tired of them white women going in there dropping them, saying, "I got a career. I got to go to work." And steady the population is dropping. So they have to put them contingencies in place because they don't want them getting rid of their future, in so many words.
Roster told me about that years ago. Then you had talked about it at the library about the how you're not even supposed to throw your placenta away.
No.
You're supposed to put that thing in the freezer.
Yeah.
And every so often you mix some of it with your food and stuff. I think you
And
told me that.
and that also becomes a medicine that you could give that child if things
You
go
did
on.
tell me that. You also said you could take like a little drop of blood.
Because it's actually their own body.
But I ain't even
You know them secrets, boys. But go ahead. I don't care. It's all out there. It ain't my information.
We talking like Sarah Murphy.
That's right.
Yeah,
See your finger, no.
I mean, it's a lot of things that can be done. I mean, and You know, that's why, you know, back in the day, you go to somebody's house, the woman, they offer you that spaghetti.
That's why Nas put that lyric in his rhyme from back then to 151.
Feeling, right.
Oh,
That's a good mix right there. But,
I ain't gonna get into it, man.
But that's when that was part of a bonding process.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? If you was with your mate and that's who you gonna be with. See, the trouble is you don't know you're gonna be with them for life. You see what I'm saying? That was a bonding thing. You took that drop and took that shot, and you wake up like Lestat and Queen the Damn more. You see what I'm saying? But it's different things that's set in place that when you look at it, like I said, it's right now. I hope, like I said, I hope they close it down as far as in the militant side of me, because I'm tired of the BS going on.
Right.
It's a
Do it and get
cleansing
it
that need to be done.
Oh, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about as far as in with their plans. It's
Oh,
like,
okay.
I'm ready. I'm
Yeah,
war ready.
yeah, we've been saying that,
I'm
man. Do
war
what
ready.
you gonna do and get it over.
You
Alright,
know,
so-
but it's the long drawn out process and I'm saying that from the militant side of me. The compassionate side of me says, give them niggas a little more time to get themselves together. But I still want it to happen because it's a day of reckoning. It has to happen. One thing that's constant in the universe is change. And we've been holding on to a lot of things way past due.
Yeah, it's overdue for.
You see what I'm saying? So what he said, like I always say that on Doctor Strange, he said, sooner or later,
Bill comes
the
due.
bill comes due. And that bill done been past due. So
All right. So how would you suggest to the people that are listening give them some pointers on preparing?
Well, I've already stated once. Get some preparedness. It doesn't have to be with us. Be a leader in your neighborhood, or your community, or whatever. Get something together where if it's drug dealers in your neighborhood, go to them. And take your neighborhoods back. If they're not contributing to these neighborhoods, take your I'm about to get loose lip. Take your neighborhoods and stuff back, man. No, you don't have if they're out there, they don't have the income to take care of home or whatever. You don't have the money to give them to take care of their home. So it's like Tupac had the code of thug life out. One of the bullets was, all right, if we can't stop the drug dealing in the neighborhood, we can regulate it. So during the day, don't sell no drugs or nothing like that while the elderly and the children are out.
No women and children.
Yep. At nighttime, you do what you
no
do.
pregnant women. They used to say no pregnant women and children.
At nighttime, you do what you do. When the morning time come, that stuff got to be up and put up. And if you violate that, you're gonna be dealt with. It has to be things in place to deal with the people that want to buck the system.
Y'all silly people out there that think that you still gonna be out there hustling if this stuff come on. It ain't coming in the city. They keeping the best drugs for them when this stuff go down.
Yeah, they just did a bus, last week before.
What do you think? They getting that stuff ready. They send that to the
I want to
storehouse.
say, before we get too off track with it, as far as the things that you could do, and start doing your deep and heavy research about things that we were talking about. We didn't even, how you say, hit the tip of the iceberg.
Oh man,
with
we ain't even cracked the seal.
You know,
We
so-
rattled the bag a little bit. You can't even see what's
So
inside the
you're already
receipt.
saying talking to what, how you say it, preaching fear in the
Yeah,
people or
they
something?
talking about preaching fear. And see, my thing
Okay,
is,
then go do your own do your own due diligence or research and stuff like that. Then find out for yourself.
you know, the Libra in me want to say, go get you a ball of wild turkey and sit back and watch this show.
Yeah,
But
that too.
the way I would say preparedness is like in your kitchen cupboard, you have all types of spices. You got pepper, you got salt, you got rosemary. Now, when you prepare a meal, you don't use all those spices every time you put a recipe together, but you have more hand just in case you need them. Preparedness is like that. You don't have to go out and fill the whole basement full of water. Just that when you go on your next shopping trip, pick up an extra 2 cases or case. Pick up a med kit. Pick up blankets and bandages and things that you know that if it goes down, you got readily at hand. Go to Foreman Mills. Buy extra basket, extra basket full of things, wipes and things like that, and get some of them book bags and stuff them with things that your family can use in the point that you have to make a quick getaway. You understand? These things now are more evident, and it don't have to be just because of the shutdown. It could be a natural disaster, earthquake. They just had an earthquake outside of Ocean City of 4.7.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They say that area don't
digging under
And
the water.
then remember what I said? Remember you was asking about the phones? That's why. That earthquake. Remember the last one came and the clocks was acting crazy and
Yeah,
stuff?
because I was like, my phone was acting up. Oh, they're like, that's why I put on it. Anybody else's phone acting up?
A day or two later, you hear about an earthquake.
And see, we got to get that stuff because we ain't got the big mamas and stuff that start talking about her ankle was hurting or something like that. And you knew it, you could trust that ankle better than you could trust that.
It's going to rain because
That's
my
why.
knee is
That's when you
killing
go
me
to.
today.
That's why you watch nature. You watch the animals. You watch these squirrels and stuff. We knew this was coming just by seeing the squirrels pulling the chicken leg out the damn dumpster. When you Maxton, when you seen that? We used to see the squirrels carry pecans and nuts. We ain't never seen no squirrel carry no big apple.
Down Disney World that ran that grabbed that bag of M&Ms and ran out.
I said,
They
you know,
adapted,
I
Jack.
look up everything that he say. I said, nigga going a little bit overboard now. Ain't no squirrel grabbing no. Man, I looked at. I said, this squirrel just grabbed. I think that was
It's a peanut kind.
That was an ancestor, man.
It's a peanut kind.
That was an
He
ancestor.
didn't go for the plain, Jack. He went for the peanut kind. He went for the
Really
nuts.
grabbed these M&Ms, man.
And that's and see that's what I'm saying. They adapting, you know, and so like I talk so much. I hope you don't mind me putting the name out. Like Phil Valentine would say, it's a poor rat that got one hole. You see what I'm saying? Take some provisions and maybe dig up somewhere in the woods and put them down. You know, right now one of the most detrimental things is going to be communication. See, if an EMP or something comes and shuts all your phones and things off, and you're not able to communicate with people, what is your plan? If your loved ones are out somewhere, where do they know how to go?
Does that go for those long range walkie talkies too?
Everything.
Unless you have
electronic.
unless you have a Faraday cage or something or a box that you had that stuff in, it's not gonna work.
No, it is a guy on YouTube. He sells this EMP blanket that you like put over your cars, or you put like in the box with your cell phone and stuff like that. That's supposed to stop it from.
See those Faraday cages do that too. Like when you use the copper and different things like that, you can take your phone right now, wrap it in aluminum foil, and it won't no signals go through it.
Right.
I can call you all day, it won't go through your signals. See, I'm putting away little secrets, but these are the things that you can find on YouTube.
They just showed,
Y'all
well,
see,
they
Gonna
just
have me
showed that
every
on,
night. Look, you gonna have me every night wrapping my John aluminum
They just
foil.
showed that on the movie Jackie Chan. What was it? When they,
the foreign.
Yeah, they showed that.
I try all that stuff. You see what I'm saying? I sit back and I look at it, but it's little things. Like I said, everybody and see what the other thing that I don't like it is now that all this is going on, kits and dry food and stuff that was like $30 and $40. Now they're pushing for $299.
Yeah, because my son is in the military and he's over in Germany, and I told him, I was like, I need you to send me some jar food. He was like, Mom, I ain't sending you that. Don't get it. He said, you know how many chemicals in that?
What, MREs?
Yeah.
Well, I used to test them. I don't.
He said
Maybe
this
now.
is different from back then. He said it's
because and the reason why I would say that like that.
Hold, wait a minute. I don't know about that because you can't get at. I mean, how the soldiers gonna fight out on the field?
No, you gotta realize that even so with the soldiers, I would think that would be true because remember they still want them to be able to perform under certain conditions. So it may be things that they may get inoculated for and different things in the military that if it's in the MREs, it won't affect them.
Well, my unit, like a lot of that stuff, I ain't get. You just get to know people, and so you slip them $20, $5, $10 here. They just put your name on the list as you got your shots and all that type of stuff. So you tell them to get with somebody like that.
But see,
Keep it to itself though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like what you're saying, if he's telling her that, it may be knowledge that he has about.
Yeah, I'm telling him because I asked him to, send me
Just
some
like
dry food because I figured he's military, he'll get it cheaper.
Just like a lot of these people.
Like,
What do you mean? Hold on. What do you mean dry food exactly? Are you talking about the MRE,
the little
bags?
packs, yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And just like you dealing with
So
people
wait a
that-
minute. Everything's lots has changed since I've been out.
Yeah.
So it's all dry food in there now. They don't come with the little heater inside them.
No.
Like you get the
Not like the ones
No,
like you
ain't
get
no
the
heater in the
jambalaya.
inside.
And
Nope.
some of them just get them energy bars.
You know what I'm talking
I was about
about?
to say that's the and it's an energy bar, a Tootsie Roll, a pack of jelly, some hard ass crackers that look like styrofoam, and it was something else. And you put
And you
some
used
kind
to
of
get,
rice
like-
thing, and you add water to
See,
it.
the stuff that we used to get, some of them still on the market that have those, but the newer ones,
The newer ones you need a microwave.
yeah, they.
So it don't come with the heater. You put the water in the thing. And put
I
it
still
in there.
got them. I still got
They don't-
them.
Oh, so I don't want to go to
I
the.
still-
I don't want no box of MREs
I
things.
still
I
got-
want the old school
I still
joints.
got them old school ones where you put that compound in there and they heat up the stuff and you can put
So
your
what
hot
does the
beverage in.
compound look like?
It's a
It come
heater.
in a
It's
bag.
a gray. It's a
Bag.
yeah. We
Mine's
talking
a
about the
bag.
heater or the
Yeah,
whole bag.
I know what the bag look like.
The
so
heater would come in a plastic. It had the olive green
Yeah.
writing on it.
Yeah.
Comes in.
I got that.
You take the packet out of the box. It might be a thing of jambalaya. You take the packet out of the box, put it in the bag. You pour the water, and the water activates the little
Chemicals.
the little
yeah,
plate
don't no
that's
bag
in
come
there.
with it. Ain't no bag. It's
And
just
it
it's the
heats
stuff
up
in
the
there.
food. Oh man.
Ain't no green bag in it. It's just
I
come with the
changed it
food.
because I was looking at a lot of stuff because I heard a guy on YouTube talking about that type of stuff. And see, the other thing is, that's gonna be the tragedy. Is a lot of these places that's out there selling these survival kits. Sometimes when people open up that bag, that's gonna be their last meal. So you can't trust none of it. I can trust some ramen though.
Ramen noodles.
Oh, that guy.
We know we got a lot of salt, but yeah, a lot of salt.
Hey,
in them, but
He knew what
hey.
he was doing when he created those. He knew
Hey.
back in the
But
70s.
also, who was it? Target, BJ's one of them. They got like a 20-pound thing of macaroni and cheese already made. Who wants some macaroni and cheese already made? And this is what they're selling. It was on
Because everybody's jumping
advertisement.
on that tip. And like I said, if the shit do go,
It's crazy.
it do go down, who gonna be thinking about that? And see, they don't know potentially they could be eating chemicals. That's their last meal.
And that's why I said create your own.
Right.
You know, I'm glad y'all spoke about the MRE things. You know, I was about to, I've been
I got-
planning on buying the whole box.
I got the
commissary,
old
you get a
school.
whole box for
The
$100.
thing now they
But
doing,
see if it got the green bag in it, because the ones
see
he
now
using, they
the
ain't-
thing now they selling these bars, protein bars that got so many calories in it, right? And that's what they've been pushing a lot. But that remind me of that movie Snowpiercer. Remember when they was taking them crickets or dead people and stuff and making these bars out of them, and the people was eating. They was on that train, and they kept going around. There was something that happened. They had to stay on that train. They had the children in there
No, I ain't never
working
heard
on the
that.
machine of the engine of the train because they was small enough.
The only movie I seen where you
Okay.
had to eat people was that plane crash when they was eating a certain layer.
Well, I'm starving, Jack.
And this is
Well,
why
you ain't gonna eat mine.
And this
I'm
is
not
why
eating
I've told
nobody.
people to practice fasting.
Yeah.
Try 24 hours at 1st, then jump to 48, then 72. You know, practice eating one meal a day because it's gonna come a point in time where you're
Ration.
gonna have to do it.
Let me tell you,
All
and,
the
and,
twists.
and the other thing is, y'all talk about people that smoke cigarettes or do drugs. That first week of no sugar, going to drive some people insane because sugar is a drug.
Addicted, yeah.
One molecule away from being crack.
And see, the other thing with the EMP, see, this is why I think it's going to be something biological. Because if you shut the power off, what happens when power go off? Everybody come outside. It's quiet.
You're like, what happened? Wait, your lights
Your
off?
power off, your power off, they talk. People
Like,
start
lock
talking.
the door, close the window.
Right.
Like,
Everybody try to call Pepco and see what time it's coming back on. But what happened if it's not? You sit there long enough in that silence. See, that's what Bird Box was dealing with. You sit there long enough in that silence, that's when all...
Because I don't remember them having no music, no nothing on them.
And see, what happens is...
Because, you ain't want nobody to hear you.
Mentally,
Nobody know you was there.
Mentally, you go crazy if you're not prepared for that. Because now, all that stuff that was being blocked out by frequencies and distractions,
you can hear it
all.
all.
Deal with it. You see what I'm saying? What they call it, sensory deprivation. Or something, or just like how
sensory deprivation.
Deprivation, yeah. And just like how they put people in solitary confinement, they come out there pulling tooth and nail. That's because all that stuff
called the white noise
back, get into you, and you have to deal with it. See, this is the other thing that I want to talk to people out there about. When you start talking down to people that have been doing this, now I understand there's some quacks out there. There's some charlatans, some snakes. But you got people out there that actually put in this work. I can talk today because I have been conditioned for this.
Right.
I didn't choose this. Yeah, in a sense of what I'm saying, I didn't choose this. I've been put through the fire. I've missed meals. I done had to deal with situations where I had to heal my own self. You see what I'm saying? Whether I didn't have the money or I didn't trust the doctor, I've had to heal myself from certain things. I've had to have my mind able to adapt from mental, you see what I'm saying, mental assaults, psychic assaults. You see what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna get into the night stuff when I used to fall asleep. And I told you, it used to feel like somebody grabbed me by the ankles and tried to snatch me out the bed.
Or you talking about wake up, go to the bathroom. Like, man, I gotta turn all these lights on. I don't feel like seeing these. I don't feel like going through this tonight, y'all.
I don't feel like confronting these things right now.
I don't want to see no dark, shadowy figures tonight. I just want to use the bathroom and get back in my bed.
See, white folks talk about these freely. This in the black community, a lot of times we throw up as myth or something grandma said. You understand? But let me tell you, that world is real. They just had a thing where they were talking about the UFO section of the government or whatever was they studying other dimensions. They know the other dimensions and stuff is here.
You know where they exist.
Every time you make a decision or choice, all the infinite choices that you did not make have to play out. And that goes back to when they were talking about photographing atoms. When they said that they took a picture and the atoms were in different specks at the same time, the same atom. But whatever point that they focused on, that's where it showed up. That is the infinity, you see what I'm saying, or the division of what we call dimensions, is because we're able, everything has to be played out for it to be a balance. You see what I'm saying? So if you go left, another form of you had to go right, but in from the left and the right, every movement in between has to be played out. You look up time. I always bring this up. The definition of time, they say, is this period between two events. So by the very definition of time, it's the period in between two events.
So like on your gravestone, the date you was born, dash, the day you died.
So it had, and so for
The
time
time
to
between.
exist, it had to already have happened. See, that's the hard fact that a lot of people don't want to see. This is where your premonitions or deja vu come from, because that's already been played out. Now it's that thing inside of your DNA and hooked to your spirit core that lets you know, hey, last time you made that move, this is what happened. And then what you hear everybody say, I mean, I even, it sounds jokingly, but I even tell you, it's people be down at the liquor store, down the corner store, they sit back and say, something told me to play that 674. Right? Now, something as simple as that, we say, oh, they getting premonition about numbers. Okay, with that person, that might be what they did. And it had to play itself out. Same thing when you walk down the street. Something tell you to walk across the street. You don't walk across the street and you get lumped up. if you got time to breathe later on, you say, man, something told me not to walk down that street. Because it's already been played out. And what happens is your auric field. See, some people's auric field is that small, but other people's auras can spread out miles. Mm-hmm. Your auric field holds information inside of it. So when it goes out, you truly never really touch anything because it's a force field or a barrier. Why? Because what's one of the laws of physics? They said that the same material cannot exist in the same space at the same time, right? So why my hand didn't go through his? Okay. Same material. So therefore, with that energy that comes out, it creates a force field as it starts to touch. You see what I'm saying? Now, it's like reading. Like that light that they have when they scan your food and stuff, or your stuff in the bookstore. That's what the auric field does. It scans. Boop. What is it? Oh, that's $5.99. Same thing. Boop. Oh, don't go down here. Boop. Go here. It gives you those signals. You see what I'm saying, to be able to move and to function. But see, these are sciences that we had, but it's been put aside. But it shows up as gadgetry. It shows up on a movie. It shows up. You see what I'm saying, on every other thing.
The Simpsons ain't lied yet.
Well, they said the event was supposed to happen yesterday at 5:15.
They ain't lied yet. It's gonna happen.
You see what I'm saying? It might be a little off.
They say this year.
Yeah, they said this year. The way the guy.
Well, it snowed.
Well, it did, and see, the other thing that I tell people is that.
Wait a minute, y'all lost me on it. So this was said on a recent episode.
The Simpsons movie that back in 2007, they were saying that the way the guy had broke it down was that it was an event that was supposed to occur yesterday on the 18th at 5:15. See, I don't throw dates out there.
It started snowing.
Yeah, I don't throw dates out there because things can, believe it or not, people can think a certain way and change an event. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? This is why you think they bombarding you so much with, or bombarding people with the shutdown. Because if I can get 30, 40, 50, 60, how many workers they say are working without pay, 800,000, thinking like that, then they can use their energy, you see what I'm saying, to bring about their reality, which goes back to, like I said, in the Matrix, when she said what's really going, she said, sorry about that. She said, don't worry about the vase. And he said, what vase? He turned around and knocked it over. She said, what's really going to get you later on is, would you have knocked the vase down if I didn't say anything? See, a lot of what they call predictive programming. You see what I'm saying? When they put that predictive programming out, you see what I'm saying, they can change the minds of people, and they think on it so much that they bring about their reality, right? People say, oh, ain't no predictive programming. I'm going to show you predictive programming. 9 o'clock, you go to school. You and somebody had that beef back in elementary. He tell you 3 o'clock, I'm going to whoop your butt. So from 9 o'clock all the way to 2:59, you've been pacing around thinking, is this butt will be coming? Or am I going to make I'm going to get out the back door, I'm going to do this, I'm going to have my boys with me. You see what I'm saying? Oh, that's predictive. Somebody tell you, remember the guy used to always tell you he would talk to you. Hell, all that mouth, man, I'm going to whoop you, boy, ain't nothing you can do. He trying to get into your mind. This is the same military tactics that they use. You see what I'm saying? But see, they got their Zulus and stuff like that. They be out there 3 days. Dancing. Beating them shields and stuff like that. Before they even came down. So you sitting there, British soldiers and stuff, wondering what's going on. Because all they hear, they don't know where it's coming from. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? All they hear is all this chanting and stuff going on. A lot of them got mad and started taking their own lives. You see what I'm saying? Because the thought of what was about to happen. You see what I'm saying? The thought of what was about to happen. And see, also, like I said, when we went back to the mumble rappers, this is a thing in the Haitian voodoo when they get to talking in the tongue, or what they call chewing the root. I ain't gonna give it away, but
So
it's a thing that they do when they do that, and those energies go into people. So it's the same way like we talking and we giving people preparedness of what they do. If you prepare, but yet you still put in the air of something or alternative of what you want to happen, you can help change that reality. So, like I said, one of the most valuable commodities is attention.
And Chuck D said the new currency is attention. Attention is the new currency. And going to what you said, that's why Dick Gregory always used to say, people just every day at 12 o'clock noon, is everybody stop what you're doing and everybody just pray about things getting better and things changing for the better. It would happen overnight.
Because we doing what we doing. What has we? A lot of times you look for your leaders to do too much. You want everybody to kick in the door, waving the 4-4. You see what I'm saying? You want them to and plant roses at the same time. Sometimes some people's whole position is to go down the corner and knock out the bully. You see what I'm saying? Then it's another person's job to go down there and re-educate that bully on why he got knocked out. You see what I'm saying? So that then he become the person that go down and knock out the next bully and the next one, and they teach each other. See, everybody, the whole package doesn't always come. And then a lot of y'all saviors that y'all looking for, you look in the mirror, you the savior. You see what I'm saying? And then a lot of the guys, people that you look down upon, you haven't been crisis tested. And the crisis, those people may be the ones that come through. So we have to, I can't sit back and talk about preparedness without talking about how we need to inject love into our communities. That's what need to come back. You know, we've been eating Marie Callender and Swanson for too long. You know, we need that home cooked food with that infused with that love and good intentions.
Like me and a young lady, we was in the lift and we were talking, and you know, we should talk about that. I said, you remember back in the day when you go to your grandma's house or your great grandma's house, they always had a pantry with food, full of food.
Yep.
What you call it? Pantry, and they also what you call it? The
Stellar.
with the mason jars.
Yeah, preserve their food.
My grandmother taught me how to do that.
We need to talk.
And it's an art to it.
Yeah,
You
can't
just
just
about
get in
cooking
and
no food and putting it in a
it.
jar. It's an art to
Gotta
it.
do just right, or that fuzz be on there.
you be starving going in to open that junk like
I
no.
come from the age of when we used to get drunk off of apple butter sandwiches. Whoa, that fermentation be
I
up
ain't had
there.
apple butter in years. But yeah, so.
And then another thing is just the idea on, you know, with the government shutdown and all that, however long it probably is going to be, and I foresee it going on for a little. And I ain't, like I said, I'm not wishing it on nobody, but get together in your community, man. Everybody put in some money and just have one nice cookout once a week.
Block party.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna hurt nobody.
Yeah, at least once a week. Just have one nice big cookout in your own community. You know what I'm saying? If you got family members that want to come to that community, don't have a bunch of people from other neighborhoods. And that's not a negative thing. It's about building up your own.
It used to be called a block party.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just to save money one day out of the week. You know, everybody just pull together, just have one big block party /
Let me know.
cookout.
I'm bringing the bean pies, and I make, you know how they got the beef patties and the chicken patties. I make the big pies like that.
And there's people out here that know people. This is primarily what for. I see pretty much for music and stuff. Comedians and stuff. Everybody knows somebody, and at these block parties, have somebody out. Have somebody. Dre or something. Everybody it's a lot of money floating around in these streets, man. You mean to tell me y'all can't put together money to bring celebrities in here for these youngins to come see the ones that they adore and pretty much worship.
Out there.
You know what I'm saying?
Since I'm on here and they deal with music, I got to send a shout out to Teddy on the beat, Tomcat, Captain Seymour down there in Charles County. You know, he deal with Lil Nine and them, you know, so you know, it's a lot of people out there that's doing music. That's the other thing. You got to give these people chances. You understand? A lot of talent that's in the DMV goes unrecognized because a lot of people don't hear them. But I'm from the age when they used to say, if your music can sell in DC, it can sell anywhere. They used to come here and grab the musicians.
What?
And take them on the
They
road.
still are. They still hit. They still stealing our music.
They
They still stealing music from DC.
Yeah.
Thanks, Puffy.
A lot of people don't remember that one of the groups that started Go-Go in DC was the Washington Senators.
Yeah.
I heard. I met him. I know the story.
You the one who caused me to research that. I was like, wait a minute. And this is no slight on Chuck Brown whatsoever. I've never been to a Chuck Brown concert. I'm sorry. I'm not ashamed. But, you know, I've lived in different places all the time. So, and I was like, wait, and you know I got to research everything. I'm like, wait a minute, man. He about to start something here and there. It's like Chuck Brown, his self did not create Go, because this whole time I'm thinking Chuck created it all. And sure enough, it's right there in black and white where it was a collective of bands pretty much. Namely, the band he just said, Chuck just spearheaded it and took it from there. You know, he gave good credence. And that's not taking nothing away from Chuck Brown whatsoever, because you know how niggas are. They want, oh man, he just curried Chuck. No, I didn't.
No.
It's just our thing is truth. Yeah, you know, not saying nobody was lying, but put it out there for the youngins. Because my thing is, a youngin can go out there and say, yeah, man, go to another state or city and be like, yeah, Chuck Brown started this. Somebody in another city or state can know a little bit more than that person and be like, no, man, Chuck Brown ain't started that. They're going to start a whole friction.
That's the same thing, like, them up in Baltimore talking about they start wearing New Balance
first, right?
That's a DC staple, man. New Balance, a DC staple, man.
Yeah, we started that thing. Man.
New Balance, Lotto, Saucony.
I seen the memes.
Slouch socks.
Yeah. British Knights, all that stuff, man.
With the drop socks and the Timberlands and stuff.
The old school captain hats.
Yeah, you used to be able to.
Gilligan Island skipper hats.
You would leave out of D.C. and go to any part of the United States and they knew where you was from.
Yeah.
Because we had our own dress code and we had our own persona of how we carried ourselves.
That's how it was when I went to Maxton for the first time in my life for the summer. Like, oh, that's y'all cousin from up north. She is from up north, ain't she?
Right. But in all, man, I would say in pretty much closing, I was like, I would be like, cut a lot of the BS, man. It's time. If it's any time than any, now's the time to cut the BS. Cut a lot of the beefs. I know it's easy to say and hard to do, but you got to start at some point.
It's going to take some of them that's in there to stop that. You know, when outsiders come in and don't understand the protocol, you can have all the wishes that you want, but it's going to take a lot of people.
Really get out.
Oh, now that's a treasure right there.
And I would rather you had that
BC.
Because you don't know if they probably
the one I'm
revamp.
getting is the
they done took a lot of stuff.
So did you order one already?
I
was gonna say if you do, just compare the two. Yeah, because I done been all in and out that thing, man.
And then I got his notes highlighted already.
Get your favorite snack and a bottle of ginger beer. And sit back and enjoy it.
Because it's not according to a lot of, you know, the elders that I watch and all that, they say it's not African to come somewhere and not bring some type of gift. You know what I'm saying? So I said, I ain't tripping off the book. I done been in there, I done had that book for years, man.
How many times have you read it?
The whole book once. And that's all it takes for me. Some books like this one right here, I haven't read this whole book, but you can see different little places I got marks. Yeah. But some of them, like if I just flip through one, it's like even if I just look at the table of contents, I'd be like, oh, okay. Right. I know what the book is pretty much covering already. Right. So this one, these two, I've read a couple of times.
But yeah, let me tell you, and I wish Raynell was here. One day we were driving, and I knew something. I knew some things were about to happen when I drove past a church. We drove past a church, and it had, what is that? Pale. So something about the pale horse. Mm-hmm. And when I looked, I doubled back, and the sign, it was there. Okay, so I was quiet. So we went on. I said, let's go back that way so I could see it again. And when I seen it, it said the same thing. I wasn't tripping. it's about to be some shit. You know, that's how you know when you start seeing things. Because I knew of the book and everything, just never read it or knew it was inside. But even from the Bible, we all know about the pale white horse. The coming of the pale white horse. We know that's the problem right there.
And even with that author, William Cooper, like he came out, he laid out some work in that book. So much so that, like I said, for cutting his grass one day, they put 2 in his dome. Just from that book he put out. He's also the one who came out with the Zapruder tape on the Kennedy shooting. Which it was he showed the driver.
Fact, she did run from the driver.
Yeah, the driver shot him. And guess who I just found out was on the passenger side. George H.W. Bush.
Yeah, because it was the driver. Somebody else right there.
Yeah.
Her husband was right there, and she was behind the driver. Because she was sitting, Jackie was sitting behind the driver.
Yeah, he reached back, and like you said, who runs? You know, you're gonna run opposite of the shot. So she was trying to run out the back of the car.
That's why I said your husband just got shot. You're gonna do everything you can to be there, unless you know that shot came from the front.
Right there, right.
And everybody that was within that perimeter, everybody turned up dead.
Think of logic. Even if the gunshot didn't come from the front, if it came from outside the car, you go down.
Down on. Okay, he shot. I'm going down.
She was good on back.
Yeah.
She saw it.
Yeah. She knew, and everybody within that perimeter turned up dead because they all saw it.
All right, y'all. I thank y'all for coming in, sharing y'all knowledge.
Okay.
No.
You ain't never been on the show until you've been on the Pandor Word Box.
Thanks for having us.
I gotta get that real drop though. I gotta get that in the real drop.
Because like I said, man, we ain't.
And if we ever come back on or you see us on live, it's a lot of stuff that we could talk about, but we wanted to let this be an introduction.
Right.
You know? Right. I only got 1 cigarette and 1 cheap stick left.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for coming in.
Yep.
Thank all my listeners that tuned in today. I'm here every week, every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here on Win DC. I see y'all next week. Get ready for Code Red. They coming on next.
Peace.
And we out.
Hey, what's up with y'all? Ain't nothing, you happy? I'm on my shot. Nah, you can't sit with us. I want some shot anyway. Oh, why? I bet then. Say no more. Say no more. Cool. What are y'all? No. I know you're not talking about those. That goes so. No, you and your friends salty, but anyway, come on, I need my thing.
Be like, just hold up there, baby girl, you about to blow up. Just hold up there, baby
Calm down. What's going on?
They gonna come outside. I need my theme music.
I bet. Say no more.
Yeah, go get them. Come on.
I am the 3rd most sampled voice, period.
I'm on my Shantae. Can I work with train on the track? DMV, let's get it. I'm on my Shantae. See me, they salute like I'm Shantae. Shantae. Vicious, but I'm cute. Call me Shantae. Shantae. My crew got that juice. Word to Shantae. Rocks. I got bomb bars. I'm a